Chapter 737. The United States has sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't come out. Country A has also sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't shown up either. If he still doesn't show up, he's either dead or he won't show up again, Xing Buhua said seriously. I must find him. Do you have secret research on the virus and the antidote? Baya asked, choking with sobs. Xing Buhua sensed something was wrong and turned to look at her. Baya's eyes became redder, but her gaze was firm. There seemed to be mist flowing in her eyes. Yes, what's wrong? Lynching. Xing Buhua didn't want to think about it. I promised him that even if he's dead, I won't give up on myself. But I want to try my best, Baya said with a smile. Tears flowed down her cheeks. What's wrong with Lingqing? Xing Buhua asked seriously. He doesn't want us to know, so let's pretend we don't know, Baya said. After that, she couldn't control her emotions and cried. Xing Buhua felt sorry for her and silently handed her a tissue. Baya took the tissue and thought of the scene of Gu Lingqing wiping away the blood in the video. Her heart ached. When he was at the base, he never needed anyone to help him, nor did he need anyone's help, nor did he want to be a burden. He did everything by himself and even helped her take care of Shosho. He looked like a normal person. She knew that he had something on his mind, but she didn't know that it was because he was hiding his illness. It was no wonder that he often hid himself. She didn't want to burden him. She wanted to do what he wanted, but in the end, he was so sick, but she didn't know it. What are you going to do now? Xing Buhua asked. I don't have to find LV Bowie. LV Bowie was saved because he was the only one who knew where the biological weapon was. In other words, the person who can find the secret research organization is the one who wanted to know about the biological weapon. I just need to tell the public that the biological weapon is here. As long as I'm here, they will automatically come to me, Baya said rationally. Too dangerous for you. There are too many people who want to get their hands on biochemical weapons, Xing Buhua said worriedly. I'm not afraid of danger. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid that I can't be with him. If I die in front of him. Baya didn't continue. She was also afraid that Gu Lingqing would be sad and blame himself. She didn't want him to be sad, so she changed her words. I won't die. What they want is the biochemical weapon. If I die, they will have nothing. Are you willing to help me? Will you be able to escape unscathed after they get their hands on the biological weapons? Xing Buhua was worried. If LV Bowie can escape unscathed, I can too. No, Hua, this is my wish. It's also the most direct method I can think of. Can you help me? Baya pleaded. Xing Buhua was silent as he looked at her reddened eyes. She looked so soft yet so strong. His heart ached faintly, but he also understood that he had to help her. Otherwise, Lingqing would definitely die. He couldn't let Lingqing die. All right, I'll help you. I'm already secretly researching the antidote and the virus. I can give you the previous ones. I'm not afraid that they will harm the world after they get their hands on the biological weapons, Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Thank you and I'm sorry, Baya said while crying. You didn't do me wrong and you don't have to thank me. This biological weapon was originally yours. However, if something happened to her and Xinyan betrayed them, she was also very worried about Xing Buhua's safety. Her feelings for him were very strange. It was a little less than love but a little more than friendship. It was the third kind of feeling that they talked about. No, Hua, she called his name but a lot of words were stuck in her throat and she couldn't say them out. Xing Buhua smiled and said, Baya, I don't love you anymore. I think I liked you before because you were too perfect. Your looks, your personality, your way of doing things, they were all what I imagined, so I was infatuated with you. It could also be that Lingqing is dying and I was afraid that you would be sad, so I used the Ling identity to love you. Qing's identity loves you. Now that Lingqing has returned, I should also break away from this role. Baya nodded. Thank you, No Hua. You said a lot of thank you and sorry today, but you don't have to. Even if there is no love between you and me, there is still family between me and Lingqing. I hope that his good mood is the same as yours. I will give you the antidote for the virus later. Keep it safe. I will always be your support. Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Things had not happened yet, but he had already predicted the danger that Baya would encounter later. He had to protect them. The car continued to move forward. Baya turned on the surveillance camera and continued to watch Gu Lingqing. He was already lying on the bed, putting ice on his head. The ice was very cold and the skin would go numb in 3 minutes. However, Gu Lingqing thought that he was in a better state when she came back, so he had been putting ice on his head. When she saw that, her heart ached even more. She couldn't bear to look, but she was afraid that if she missed one more look, she would really miss one more look. She had never felt that time was so torturous. She was anxious to go to Gu Lingqing's side and take care of him. Finally, she made it to Shiniyen's side. Shiniyen was locked in the third floor underground. The soldiers were guarding it layer by layer, and there was a gas chamber and a trap room. If anyone came to save him, he would be the first to die. Xing Buhua was very guarded against Shiniyen. She wanted Xing Buhua to let Shiniyen go, which was to make things difficult for him. However, Xing Buhua actually agreed. She felt even more guilty towards Xing Buhua. Perhaps the decision in the next second was wrong, but she wanted to do it. The soldiers opened the door of the room where Shiniyen was locked. Shiniyen sat in front of the desk with his back to them, reading a book elegantly. The life of imprisonment did not make him decadent. Instead, it made him more calm and introverted. Baya couldn't help thinking of Liu, a historical figure in a certain country. He was also a king of a generation with outstanding charm, literary talent, and poetry. No one could match him. He was defeated by the Song Kingdom and lived in seclusion for 3 years. But he wrote the famous Beauty You. When will the spring flowers and autumn moon be over? How much of the past is known? Last night the east wind blew, and the old country was unbearable to look back. The carved railings and jade walls should still be there, but the vermilion has changed. How much worry can a man have, just like the spring water flowing east? Shiniyen, Baya shouted. Shiniyen's body froze. He turned around and looked at Baya in surprise. He smiled and said, "Long time no see." Baya walked to Shiniyen and looked at him. He didn't lose weight, nor did he gain weight. He still maintained the same figure as before. Between his brows, he was high-spirited and unparalleled. He was still the Shiniyen she knew. "How long have you been in this place?" Baya asked. Shiniyen looked at the calendar on the wall. "It should be 7 months and 3 days. Let me guess, you can't be with Xing Buhua. So, the only possibility that you are still alive is that Gu Lingqing is also alive." Chapter 738. Can I correct you? She is the only one I have succeeded in so far, and she is also the one I want, Shiniyen said with a smile. Baya was stunned. She looked at his bright face and asked, "Are you really willing to leave your position?" "I didn't want to be the president in the first place, but I had to do it for the benefit of the people behind my family. When I was the president, I married someone I didn't want to marry and hurt the person I love. Do you think Lu Shuang is suitable to be the president's wife? She will have no freedom and will be unhappy every day. She will also be under pressure because the pressure will drive her crazy," Shiniyen explained. "I don't think Hua is following your old path." "Is he going to marry the daughter of the Xiang family?" Shiniyen guessed. "Nothing can hide from your eyes. Do you have any good suggestions?" Baya asked. "There are 3 daughters in the Xiang family. The eldest daughter is already married. The second daughter is a social butterfly. To put it bluntly, she is a public transport. If Xing Buhua marries her, he can wear 1,000 cuckolds. The third daughter is arrogant, barbaric and ruthless. When one of the maids did something wrong, she cut the maid's hand. When one of the maids did something wrong, she put the maid's hand into boiling oil," Shiniyen said calmly. "So these 3 girls are not suitable." Baya frowned. She was even more worried about Xing Buhua and felt even more guilty. "Yes, I thought about the Xiang family when I wanted to form an alliance through marriage. But I can't flatter these 3 girls, so I chose the Hua family, which was on the decline at that time. However, if Xing Buhua really wants an alliance through marriage, there is one girl who is suitable. I also considered her at that time," Shiniyen said thoughtfully. "Who?" "The eldest daughter of the Xiang family gave birth to a daughter when she was 18. But the other party's family was poor. Due to various reasons, they didn't get together and married a rich man. This daughter stayed with her father." "Do you want Hua to marry the daughter of the eldest daughter?" Baya is worried. "Will the Xiang family acknowledge this child?" Her father was sick and she didn't want to leave him. She stayed by his side and worked hard to support the family. At that time when I looked for her, her father was seriously ill. I promised to give her money. She said that her father was seriously ill and that if I helped her because of him, I wouldn't be able to help her. If he left for money, his illness would only worsen. Now that more than 3 years have passed, her father should have passed away. It sounds like this girl is quite strong and has a good character." Baya pondered. The eldest daughter of the Xiang family has always felt guilty towards her younger daughter. The problem is, when her father was seriously ill and needed money, she didn't return to the Xiang family. Now that her father is dead, she probably won't return to the Xiang family. It's up to you to convince her," Shiniyen suggested. "Thank you, Shiniyen. If it wasn't for Xing Buhua, Your position would be stable and you could still be with Lu Shuang. Xinyan smiled. There are no ifs in this world. When you are in a high position, all you want to do is not let yourself fall. Too stressful. When I was in power, I didn't rest more than a month. I worked overtime almost every day and I only slept for more than 6 hours. Since Xing Buhua is in such a high position, he will bear all these responsibilities. He promised me that he will let you go after a year and treat Lu Shuang well, Bai said gently. If you died, I think I would be imprisoned until I die. But if you come back, I will definitely be released. I'm betting that you are still alive. Xinyan smiled. After you get out, can you not go against Xing Buhua? Bai asked worriedly. After I get out, I will pick up Lu Shuang and go to Country X. I will change my identity and live a commoner's life. Power and influence are not what I want. I will leave them to those who want them. A new prime minister replaces the old prime minister, and a new emperor replaces the old emperor. It's easy to attack a city but difficult to defend it. Those who have been separated know best, Xinyan said calmly. She had wanted to hypnotize Xinyan. Whether he was acting or not, his micro-expressions, his eyes, and his words had touched her and convinced her. She didn't do it. Let's endure for a while. After all, it will take time for you to escape. Xinyan nodded. Help me see Lu Shuang. I miss him very much. Bai nodded. Okay. I will leave first. Take care. Take care, Xinyan said. Bai turned around and walked out of the room. She felt a little more relaxed than when she came in. As long as Xinyan and Xing Buhua didn't become enemies, everything in the future was still beautiful. As long as she could cure Gu Lingqing. When she reached the ground, Xing Buhua gave her a box. Everything is inside. Do you need me to hide it in the original place? Help me hide it in a place. I will write the address for you. Destroy it after you read it, Bai said. She took out a notebook, wrote the address on the paper and passed it to Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua destroyed it as soon as he saw it. I will release the news after I let these things go. The sooner the better. I am worried about Lingqing's situation. Also, I may be arrested. Don't worry about me. Take care of Lingqing. I know what to do. It's best not to let Lingqing know about this. I am afraid that he will feel guilty and blame himself. He is too responsible, Bai said. Xing Buhua nodded. Also, Xinyan said, I know the content of your conversation. Xing Buhua interrupted Bai. Even if Xinyan is acting, I will let him go according to the agreement. Are you going to marry the girl he mentioned? Bai asked softly. Xing Buhua nodded. He is right. The 3 daughters of the Xiang family are not good. But I have promised to marry the youngest daughter. No. Bai felt that it was not worth it. Think twice. Xing Buhua nodded. Go back. It's late. Please take care of Lingqing. Okay. When Bai returned home, it was already 12 p.m. She looked at Gu Lingqing on the bed. He had removed the ice pack and seemed to be asleep. She knew that he was not asleep. She didn't say anything. She went to the bathroom and took a shower. She lay down beside him and put her hand on his warm body. Lingqing, I love you, Bai said in a hoarse voice. Gu Lingqing held her hand and turned over to face her. But he didn't open his eyes. Bai snuggled into his arms. She took a deep breath and smelled the familiar scent on his body. Let's not give up on the future. Besides grasping today, we have to take care of ourselves. The longer we live, the longer we can be together. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple moved. He opened his eyes. He was determined and focused. What if I become someone you don't like in order to live? Chapter 739. I know. Go to sleep, it's late, Gu Lingqing said gently. Bai smiled. Okay. She didn't sleep well at night. She was afraid that he would leave, afraid that something would happen to him. She woke up a few times and only went back to sleep when she saw him lying beside her. In the morning when he woke up, she woke up with a start and looked at him. Morning. Gu Lingqing's face was pale. He nodded and rushed into the washroom. Bai heard the strange water pouring and her whole body trembled. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. But she didn't dare to look, afraid that she would break down if she saw it. But if she didn't look, she was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing and she didn't know. She walked to the washroom slowly. Her legs were weak and every step was as heavy as gold. Finally, she reached the door of the washroom. She paused and hesitated. Just as she was about to open the door, Gu Lingqing opened it. He smiled at her and gave her the washroom. Bai watched as he prepared the toothpaste for her. She looked at the dustbin. There didn't seem to be anything strange. She opened the toilet and saw the unflushed toilet paper with blood stains on it. She felt that it was hard to breathe. She couldn't let this go on. Gu Lingqing deliberately hid his illness and didn't seek treatment. His condition would worsen. She quickly brushed her teeth and washed her face. She opened the door and went out. He was wearing his clothes. She walked in front of him and helped him button up. Lingqing, there's something you might not know. When you were not around, I installed a pinhole camera at home. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply and stroked her hair. Don't worry about me. I'm not worried. Everyone will die one day. I just feel heartache. Even if you're dead, my heart will still hurt when I think of you. I will definitely save you. It's just a little nosebleed. It's not a big deal. How long has it been bleeding? Baya asked. Coincidentally. Coincidence? Baya was a little angry and pushed Gu Lingqing away. You're still lying to me? Gu Lingqing reached out and hugged her. He pressed the back of her head against his chest and said in a low voice, I'll be fine. Trust me. Baya didn't want to lose her temper. It was useless. Not only could she not solve the problem firmly, she would also hurt the person she loved. He said it would be fine, but she didn't believe him. Let's go back to the base first. No matter what, we have to stop the bleeding first. It's definitely not good to keep having nosebleeds, Baya said. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened as he nodded. Let's go say goodbye to Mom, Baya said, holding his hand and walking out. Song Shiyu had already prepared breakfast. Seeing them come out hand in hand, she was very happy. It's time for breakfast. I've made your favorite food. Gu Lingqing and Baya ate quietly, no one spoke. The room was filled with Shosho's babbling. It was very lively. Baya looked at Shosho. She didn't want him to lose his father so soon. Thinking of Gu Lingqing's condition, she felt sad and couldn't eat any more. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at her gently. Her eyes were full of love. She didn't blame him for hiding it. She just felt sorry for him. I'll tell Mom later, Baya said. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. After breakfast, Song Shiyu was busy in the kitchen. Baya followed him into the kitchen and helped Song Shiyu. Just leave it. I'll do these. Song Shiyu smiled. Mom, we're leaving today, Baya said. Song Shiyu paused. What? Isn't it good at home? It's not that. It's good. We've always wanted to come back. It's just that Lingqing's condition isn't completely cured yet. We still have to go to the doctor, Baya told the truth. Song Shiyu understood. It's more important to go to the doctor. Where are you going to the doctor? Can I go to see you? We're at the base. If you miss us, you can tell Buhua. He knows where we are, Baya said. Oh, what about Shosho? Are you taking Shosho with you? Song Shiyu said reluctantly. I've discussed it with Lingqing. Xiao Yan is being taken care of by his foster parents, but Xiao Xian needs you to take care of him. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Xiao Xian, Baya said. We're family. There's no trouble. It's good that Xiao Xian is with me. Remember to call us often. Don't disappear for more than a year like before. Okay, we'll call you often, Baya promised. Song Shiyu knew that she couldn't stop them even if she wanted to. You're all sensible children. If you weren't forced to, you wouldn't have chosen to leave. All I can do is support you. Thank you, Mom. Baya was touched. She hugged Song Shiyu. I've never had motherly love since I was young. It's you who made me feel motherly love. Song Shiyu hugged Baya too. If only I didn't oppose you and Lingqing back then. I don't blame you. It's fate. Mom, let's go. I'll take good care of Lingqing, Baya said with teary eyes. I believe in you. Song Shiyu patted Baya's back. Baya came out of the kitchen. His phone rang. It was Gu Lingqing. She was surprised. She looked around for Gu Lingqing but didn't see him. She picked up the phone. She had a bad feeling. Lingqing, where are you? Xiaoya, I'll text you later, Gu Lingqing said and hung up. Baya asked Lin Shulan anxiously. Where's Gu Lingqing? Where did he go? Lin Shulan was confused. He went out. I think he was with Zhang Xingyu. Baya didn't even have time to put on a coat. She rushed out of the door. Gu Lingqing was nowhere to be seen. She called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu hung up. Baya was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She wanted to call Xing Buhua. Gu Lingqing had sent her a text. She opened it immediately. No, who called me last night and told me what you were going to do. Baya was anxious. She called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also hung up. She had no choice but to send a text to Gu Lingqing. We promise that no matter what happens, we'll face it together. I don't need my woman to take risks for me. Stay at home and wait for me to come back, Gu Lingqing said simply. Baya was so anxious that her brain was burning. Gu Lingqing, don't leave me, okay? She waited for a minute. Gu Lingqing didn't answer her. She called Gu Lingqing, but his phone was turned off. Baya was so angry that she smashed the phone on the floor. You're always like this. You always insist on doing things your own way. Gu Lingqing, I don't want you anymore. I don't want you anymore. After shouting, she picked up the phone with the broken screen and made a call. Xing Buhua answered the call. Chapter 740. I've discussed it with him. I don't think you should be responsible for this. Gu Lingqing is the only one who can hand over the biological weapon and escape unscathed, Xing Buhua said. How can he escape unscathed? If he hands over the biological weapon, will those people let him go? They can't, Baya said anxiously. I'll do everything in my power to protect him. Then protect him. Why let him go alone? Do you know how much trouble he'll be in if he goes alone? Previously, LV Bowie had already escaped. This time they wouldn't let LV Bowie escape so easily. Were they going to watch him die? If he dies like this, I'd rather stay with him for another year and watch him die of illness. Xing Buhua, why did you tell him? Why did you tell him? We had a good agreement. Why did you do this? Baya was very upset. Baya, be rational. I also wanted to find someone from the special forces to do it, but Lingqing didn't agree. He said that it's life. His life isn't more precious than others. So, he values other people's lives more than his own. Do you think he'll use a biological weapon that will endanger the entire human race in exchange for his own life? No, he won't do that, Baya said with certainty. His eyes were red. Xing Buhua suddenly understood. Wait a minute. He hung up immediately and called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu's phone was switched off. He called Gu Lingqing, but Gu Lingqing's phone was also switched off. He called his people and ordered, activate the third eye immediately and find Gu Lingqing and Zhang Xingyu. He had just hung up when Baya called again. Xing Buhua picked up the call and said guiltily, I'm sorry, Baya. I don't know Lingqing as well as you do. I can't get through to Lingqing now. I can't even get through to Zhang Xingyu. Baya was breathing heavily. He was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Could she blame Xing Buhua? What's the use of blaming him? Could she ask Xing Buhua for help? The third eye originally belonged to Gu Lingqing. She didn't think that Xing Buhua could find Gu Lingqing through the third eye. After all, the third eye had an account which only Gu Lingqing knew. Just a phone call from him could cause the heavenly eye to collapse temporarily. She hung up the phone and squatted on the ground. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. The more she thought about it, the more wrong she felt. But most of all, she was worried. She just squatted and didn't move. Lin Shulan was worried about Baya. He came over with a down jacket and put it on Baya. He asked in confusion, Madam, what happened? Baya buried her face between her knees and didn't want to speak. Lin Shulan accompanied her. From morning to noon, Baya was still squatting like this. Madam, your feet will go numb if you squat like this, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Her feet had gone numb long ago. She couldn't move. But compared with the turbulent waves in her head, it was nothing. Gu Lingqing had abandoned her just like that. He had abandoned her, right? Was it because she had been waiting for him, so he had no fear? Just like this, he just left without saying a word. After a few words, he resolutely turned off the phone. Didn't he consider her feelings? Wasn't he afraid that she would be worried? Baya stood up. Her feet were so numb that she couldn't stand. Lin Shulan immediately supported Baya. Baya staggered forward step by step. She had an urge to rebel. She wanted to live as she pleased, just like them. She sat down on a chair by the lake. Lin Shulan knocked on Baya's legs to let the blood flow so that her feet wouldn't go numb. Baya looked at the lake. Her chest was still moving up and down. She picked up her phone and sent a text message to Gu Lingqing. I'll give you 24 hours. Come back in 24 hours. I'll pretend nothing happened today. No matter what happens, we'll face it together. After 24 hours, we'll get a divorce. I'll remarry within a week. From now on, it has nothing to do with me. Don't forget, I can hypnotize myself. I mean what I say. Shulan, go back. Take good care of my mom and Shosho, Baya said in a low voice. Lin Shulan was worried about Baya's current state. Madam, it's noon. We should go back for lunch. Baya glanced at her. Are you not going to listen to me? Madam, don't scare me. I'm worried that something might happen to you. Lin Shulan's eyes were red. Baya looked at her. Her face was ruined because of her. Baya blamed herself in her heart. She sighed softly. I'm fine. I just want to be alone to think calmly. You can go back first. Then madam, remember to call me if anything happens, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Baya nodded. Lin Shulan went back this time. Baya just sat there. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone for an hour. She felt like she was going crazy. She resisted the urge to look at her phone. However, she did not give up. She still wanted to see if there were any messages from Gu Lingqing. There were still no messages. Her phone rang. Her hope was ignited. She saw that it was Xing Buhua's caller ID. Her eyes dimmed again. She could not hide her disappointment. She picked up the call, hoping that there was good news from Xing Buhua. Xiaoya, Lingqing paralyzed the Heavenly Eye. Do you know the account and password of the Heavenly Eye? Xing Buhua asked. Baya's heart sank. She knew that Gu Lingqing had the ability to paralyze the Heavenly Eye. But when she really heard the news, it was as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over her head. He was really so heartless. Did he not want to be found by them even if he died? She was so dispensable in his eyes. How could he abandon and give up on her so easily? For the so-called hatred of his parents, he abandoned his promise to her. Now, for the sake of the world, he abandoned his promise to her again. Why had she persevered for so many years? Why had she protected him for so many years? What was she in his eyes? What he had left her was an endless weight. She could give up everything for him. He could give up on her for something else. Was he too compassionate or was she too narrow-minded? She did not want to wait any longer. The longer she waited, the more aggrieved she felt. Even the sadness she was feeling now became the strength of her anger. She hung up and sent another message to Gu Lingqing. I'm serious. If you don't come back in 24 hours, I'll cut off all ties with you. I won't wait for you anymore. I won't love you anymore. I'll cut you out of my heart. I won't leave any space for you anymore. Do you understand? Still no one answered her. All right, she would wait for the last time. The sun set and the sky darkened. Lin Shulan looked for her a few times. Seeing that she was in a daze, he did not want to disturb her. Song Shiyu came over personally and sat beside her. Chapter 741. Actually, he won't come back, right? Baya asked softly. Lingqing knew what he wanted since he was young and he would walk the path that he wanted. Actually, he didn't have to work so hard. His father could have saved him 10 years of hard work. But he wasn't willing and stubbornly followed his own path. He started as a special forces soldier and became a general, Song Shiyu said. He has always been stubborn. He only listens to himself and doesn't care about what others think. He doesn't care whether it's right or wrong. He's responsible to his friends, to the military, to the country and to the world. He only owes his family and his lover, Baya said angrily. Maybe to him, family and lover are a part of him. So we deserve to be abandoned by him. Baya's eyes turned red again. They were red like blood. Song Shiyu held Baya's hand. I understand why you're angry. You waited for him for so long. He left because he didn't want you to worry. He left not because he didn't want me to worry but because he was afraid that I would use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. As long as he left, we wouldn't be able to find him and I wouldn't use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. He was responsible for the world. He's such a righteous child. Since he was young, he didn't want to accept what his family gave him and he didn't want to steal from others. Even when he was promoted, he did it step by step. He could have been the president but he didn't want to. He supported Xinyin. Forgive him, Song Shiyu said. I won't forgive him. If he can abandon me so easily, he doesn't deserve my love. He loves the world but the world might not know. He doesn't love me but I know, Baya said resolutely, tears flowing down her cheeks. Song Shiyu knew that Baya had been wrong this time. Maybe this is the fate of us women. Women want small relationships but men want more than we can imagine, Song Shiyu said helplessly. It's just that what Gu Lingqing and Gu Tianhang want is not something we can give them, Baya said coldly. Do you still remember what you said to me when you were kidnapped by Tianhang 7 years ago? You said what a woman wants is a man's care and love. If there is no love in a marriage, it will be the grave. I suffered for a long time because of what you said, because I knew that Tianhang didn't marry me because he loved me. After that, I didn't feel any love from him. But didn't I live my life like that? Song Shiyu said softly. People only live once. My mother, because of her obsession with love, she went crazy her whole life. Even when she died, that man didn't even turn back to look at her. I don't want to live like that for the rest of my life. I promised him that I wouldn't give up on myself, but every time I think about how he abandoned me, I feel terrible. Someone was going to explode. In the past I have always lived for others. This is the last time I will wait for him. After this I will only live for myself, Baya said resolutely. Okay, Mom supports you, Song Shiyu said with a choked voice. Baya calmed down. She felt that she shouldn't lose her temper with Song Shiyu. Song Shiyu should be feeling worse than her. I'm sorry, Mom. I was too emotional. You are still young and there is still hope. I only realized it very late. I have lived my life in vain, but I can't change it. I can't turn back time. I can see your obsession with Ling Qing and how well you treat him. Unfortunately, their ambitions are not in love. Xiaoya, Mom. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy, Song Shiyu said with sincerity. Baya's heart still hurt. Let me wait for him one last time. Okay, but not here. It will be colder here at night. Your knees and joints won't be able to take it. Don't get sick. Don't you want to live for yourself? Baya knew that Song Shiyu cared about her. She didn't want to make the people who cared about her sad. She stood up and followed Song Shiyu back. Shosho had fallen asleep under the care of Xia. I'll heat up the food for you, Song Shiyu said and went to the room. Baya looked at Song Shiyu's back. In fact, Song Shiyu did better than her. She could control her emotions better than her. She couldn't be so calm and take care of others in sadness. Her eyes were full of water vapor. The water vapor condensed and turned into tears. Song Shiyu came out and put the hot food in front of her. She smiled and said, "Eat first. Don't starve your stomach." For a moment she was a little soft-hearted. A thought flashed through her mind. Why not live with Shosho and Song Shiyu like this without any desire? But her heart was too tight. She was very unwilling. As long as she thought of what happened today, her emotions would suddenly collapse. She had a mental illness. If her mental illness relapsed again, it would be more serious than the previous situation, and it would be more difficult to cure. She was very afraid that she would force her mental illness to relapse. While she was suffering, she would hurt others. And the people she would hurt were not strangers but people who cared about her. She lowered her head and ate the food, but she couldn't eat it. She ate a few mouthfuls randomly. Mom, go to sleep. I'll wait for him to come back. You should sleep early too. If he comes back, she will see him as soon as she wakes up, Song Shiyu said. Okay. Baya answered. Song Shiyu looked at her worriedly and went back to the room to sleep. She couldn't sleep at all. Even if she had a terrible headache, she still couldn't sleep. She sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing to come back. It was not until 5:30 a.m. that Song Shiyu had already woken up. Seeing that Baya was still sitting on the sofa, she said worriedly, "You've been sitting for the whole night. Hurry up and go to sleep. I'll watch. When Lingqing comes back, I'll call you immediately." Baya's eyes were extremely dry. She looked at Song Shiyu weakly. "I said that I would give him 24 hours. There are still 3 hours. I can wait." "You silly child. If he comes back, he won't let you wait for even an hour." Song Shiyu told the truth cruelly. She didn't want her to be too tired. Baya knew, but in her heart she was angry. She carried the last bit of hope and gave herself one last chance. If he didn't come back in 3 hours, she wouldn't wait anymore. Really, she wouldn't wait anymore. Song Shiyu saw that Baya was stubborn. She sighed and went into the kitchen to make breakfast. After an hour, Shosho woke up. Xiaoxia brought him down. When he saw Baya, he wanted to hug her. Baya didn't move. She glanced at Shosho with a complicated gaze. She lowered her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks. If Gu Lingqing didn't come back this time, she would definitely break down and go crazy. Chapter 742. Instead of dying in madness like her mother, she would rather end her own life. But after it ended, she still had nothing. There was no love waiting for her, there was no place she wanted to go. Perhaps the best way was to hypnotize herself. She had hypnotized herself once, so she should be able to do it again. This time she wanted to forget about Gu Lingqing, everything related to Gu Lingqing including Shosho. Only by ending the source of her pain could she stop feeling sad. Xiaoxia saw that something was wrong with Baya, so she brought Shosho to the room to play. As time passed, she stared at the clock on the wall like a statue, unable to hear anyone. Song Shiyu looked at Baya and felt sorry for her. She walked to Baya again. "Don't wait anymore, child. It's almost 12 o'clock. You didn't eat for the whole day yesterday and you didn't sleep for the whole night. Your body won't be able to take it." Baya looked at the clock on the wall slowly. It was 11:50. She had waited for more than 26 hours. He really wasn't coming back. He was abandoning her, abandoning Shosho, abandoning his mother. He was so decisive. Baya stood up slowly, clutching her heart. Her heart was hurting. Perhaps because she did not sleep, her feet felt light when she stepped on the ground. Xiaoya, eat something before you sleep, Song Shiyu said gently. Baya shook her head and did not say anything. She climbed the stairs weakly. Song Shiyu was really afraid that she would fall and looked at her worriedly. She did not look at anyone. She walked into her room and closed the door. She climbed onto the bed and closed her eyes. The pain in her heart did not seem to belong to her. She forced herself not to think about anything and fell asleep. However, she did not sleep well. The pain woke her up every few minutes. The pain was so unbearable that she felt like she was going to explode. She slept and woke up. When she woke up, it was already 17 hours later. She went to the bathroom to brush her teeth and took a shower. You're awake, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Her cold gaze swept across the room. Where's Gu Lingqing? Song Shiyu's smile froze and he began to stutter. She was a psychologist. Song Shiyu's expression had already told her the answer. In fact, he had known about it long ago. Therefore, when he was sure that Gu Lingqing had not returned, he could remain as indifferent as water. Mom, I'm hungry, Baya said as she sat at the dining table. I'll prepare breakfast for you right away, Song Shiyu said hurriedly and went to the kitchen. Not long after, he brought out the century egg and lean meat congee, as well as fried dough sticks and eggs. Song Shiyu sat opposite her and comforted her. Lingqing is a child who knows what he is doing. I believe he will come back one day. Baya lowered her head and ate her breakfast. We just have to wait patiently. If you're still unhappy, I can accompany you on a trip. I and Shosho, Xiaoxia and Shulan will go out together, Song Shiyu continued. Baya still did not say anything and ate her breakfast seriously. Song Shiyu did not know what to say at that moment. Such a cold Baya made her feel a little uneasy. 10 minutes later, Baya finished her breakfast. She put down her chopsticks and looked up at Song Shiyu. Mom, Baya shouted. Song Shiyu had a bad feeling. Her nose was dry. Hey. I'm not going to wait anymore, Baya said calmly without much emotion. Alright, let's not wait anymore. We'll just live together in the future, Song Shiyu said, following Baya's words. Yesterday when I was waiting for him, I thought about a lot and recalled a lot. He wants to rule the country and bring peace to the world. I just want a little love. When our values and outlook on life are different, we'll feel wronged, sad, quarreled, and angry. We'll always be in hot water, Baya said softly. He said, Mommy has been through this. I understand. Song Shiyu's eyes were moist. Baya curled her lips slightly. I can't live a carefree life. I'll feel wronged every day I wait for him. When the grievances accumulate to a certain extent, they'll turn into resentment. I'll be so worried that I'll become paranoid and crazy. I even want to give up on myself to release it. I want Gu Lingqing to regret what he did yesterday. I want to make him regret what he did yesterday. Song Shiyu wiped her tears. You're a rational and good child. But I still feel wronged. He can let go of everything easily. I want to let go of everything too. Song Shiyu became nervous. Xiaoya, what do you want to do? You still have Xiaoyan. Shosho, don't do anything stupid. Mom, there are gains and losses when there are gains and losses when there are gains. With a mother who's in a bad state of mind, Shosho will grow up in a bad environment. He'll be influenced by his mother. Just like how I've always been influenced by my mother, I'm prone to depression and mental breakdown. I'm even more prone to mental breakdown and extreme. Baya explained. Xiaoya, you're still young. Everything will get better, Song Shiyu said worriedly. I want to leave. Maybe I won't come back for the rest of my life, Baya said softly. Song Shiyu burst into tears. Lingqing just left and you want to leave too? Why can all of you be so heartless? Tianhang is like that, Lingqing is like that, and you are like that too. This is how the world is. Those who are hurt are always sentimental. Believe me, if I stay, every day will be torture for all of you, Baya said. She knew herself. She stayed, she would go crazy one day. When she went crazy, she would become a burden to them like her mother. You've made up your mind, haven't you? Song Shiyu asked. Shosho, I'll leave it to you. What if Lingqing comes back one day? Where should we go to find you? Song Shiyu asked with teary eyes. Even if he comes back, don't look for me. Even if he comes back, I won't forgive him. Once, twice, 3 or 4 times. I don't have such a strong heart. What I want is just a little love, a happy and ordinary life with my husband's sincere company. Baya was determined. She said resolutely. What if Shosho misses you? There were waves in Baya's eyes. They were dark like the dragon scales on the body of a black dragon. They shone with water and became deeper. Just tell him that I'm dead. Will Shosho hate you? Song Shiyu was still making the last effort. Mom, believe me. If I stay, Shosho will hate me. Baya frowned. Her eyes were red. What's wrong? Song Shiyu asked worriedly. Baya could feel that Song Shiyu treated her well. However, she couldn't bear Gu Lingqing's departure. As a psychologist, she knew very well that her emotions had reached the tipping point. Every day in the future she would suffer from insomnia and pain. She couldn't get over it. She wouldn't be like herself anymore. I've made up my mind, Baya said resolutely. She stood up and went back to her room to pack her luggage. Hello, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 743. Song Shiyu knew that Baya and Gu Lingqing were the same kind of people. Once they decided on something, no matter what others said, it would be useless. Because they were actually more rational and smarter than anyone else. They could see the development, jump out of the current situation and see something different. She entered Baya's room and reminded her, after you leave this time, remember to take care of yourself. Everything else belongs to others, only your body belongs to you. Mom, take care of yourself too, Baya said sincerely. I will take good care of Shosho. Don't worry, when you are tired of wandering, I will wait for you to come back, Song Shiyu said as her eyes turned red. She turned her face away and wiped her eyes. Tears streamed out of Baya's room. Baya looked at the direction where Song Shiyu disappeared and tears streamed down her face quietly. She would never come back again. She would never come back again. Even if Gu Lingqing came back alive, she would never come back. She was very tired. A relationship had used up all her energy and even her will. She had done everything, but in the end, the blow was devastating. She did not say goodbye to Shosho, Xiaoxia and Lin Shulan. She took her luggage and left. She went to look for Su Changha. Su Changha and Su Jiao got married. Su Jiao was 6 months pregnant and was resting at home. Su Changha was surprised to see Baya. Where have you been? Your phone has been switched off. You didn't even come to my wedding. Baya smiled. I'm sorry. Too many things happened before, so I went into hiding. Is the current president your husband? Or is he your husband's brother? Su Changha asked curiously. It's Gu Lingqing's elder brother. Senior brother, is there any kind of surgery in America that can remove part of one's memory? Baya asked seriously. As far as I know, they've been researching it, but they've never succeeded. The structure of the brain is very complicated. It can repair cells and nerves. It can make a person lose his memory completely but not part of it. However, hypnotists can hypnotize a person's subconscious and achieve partial hypnosis. You know the effect of hypnosis better than me, Su Changha asked in confusion. But using the subconscious to hypnotize is too unstable. Once a gap is opened in the memory, the hypnotized will swarm in. It's not a long-term solution, Baya pondered and said. Who do you want to hypnotize? Su Changha asked. Since Baya came to him, he didn't want to hide it. I'll do it myself. Su Changha was stunned. Hypnotizing yourself is 100 times more difficult than hypnotizing an ordinary person because the subconscious will reject it. That's why I need your help. In this aspect, you're the best in the industry. My level of hypnosis is not as good as yours. I'm not confident that I can do it well, Su Changha said worriedly. After I take the medicine, you'll assist me outside. I'll also try my best to hypnotize myself. I don't know if I can do it, but if I don't do it, I definitely can't do it, right? Baya said while thinking. Which memory do you want to hypnotize? Baya lowered his eyes. His gaze was deep, like the moonlight on the lake in winter, bright and clear. Everything about Gu Lingqing. Why? Don't you love him very much? Su Changha was even more confused. It's the most painful thing to want and love but can't get. I don't want to suffer anymore. From the day he left, he's not worth my weight anymore, Baya said with certainty. It's not your style to give up easily. That's because I know that if I don't give up, I'll only hurt myself more. Senior brother, it's been 10 years. I was 21 that year and I'm already 31 this year. I don't know how many more decades I have to wait. Maybe it's my whole life. If he loves me, I'll wait for my whole life. But it's him who doesn't love me. He can easily give up being with me. Why should I keep waiting for him? I don't want to wait. I don't want to be like Song Shiyu, who wasted his life and didn't get emotional peace until his death, Baya said emotionally. Will you fall in love again after you forget him? Yes, Baya answered firmly. Since you've decided to fall in love again, there's no need for hypnosis, Su Changha said softly. He knew a lot about Baya, so his heart ached for her. Baya smiled bitterly. Without hypnosis I can't give up on him. He used to be in my heart, fused with my flesh and blood. Because of the unwillingness and resentment in my heart, I want to dig my heart out and throw him away at any moment. But after my heart is dug out, I will die. If I die, where will I go? I don't want to live a life of pain, despair, and sadness every day. One day I'll break down. So, I can only hypnotize you. Senior brother, help me. Help me never remember him again. I'll try my best. Baya, have you really thought it through? Su Changha asked at the end. No, I've thought it through. This is the best way. I don't have to worry about whether he's alive or dead. Where did he go? How important are the children and I in his heart? From now on, Baya will be reborn from nirvana. She won't be for others but only for herself. I'll be like what Master Gufa said. I'll laugh and watch. Baya said with tears in her eyes. If the first hypnosis doesn't work, I'll do it a second time. If the second time doesn't work, I'll do it a third time. If the third time doesn't work, I'll repeat it countless times. Su Changha knew that Baya had made up her mind. When do you plan to start? Today, right now. Baya confirmed. She took out the medicine from her bag. Give me a glass of water. Su Changha poured a glass of water for her. Baya took the medicine, lay on the space chair and closed her eyes. In fact, she was still unwilling, but she was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Everything will end here. Half a year later, at a press conference in America, someone asked me what's the difference between a man's brain and a woman's brain. According to science, a man's brain is generally larger than a woman's. However, women have more nerve cells and connections than men. So, the left side of a woman's brain is more used for emotional processing. Men, on the other hand, are more used for logic. Because of the difference between a man's and a woman's brain, the number of female mental patients is twice that of male mental patients. Whether you're awake and in pain every day, unable to take care of yourself and needing to rely on others, or whether you're asleep, what you experience in your brain is happiness, what you want, and joy. Everyone's brain can build another world. We call it imagination. Every day, 100,000 chemical reactions occur in everyone's brain. Some emotions, we call them sadness, depression, and sadness. After these chemical reactions, they will produce toxins that stimulate the nerves and affect a person's worldview, outlook on life, behavior, thoughts, rationality, and decisions. Some emotions we call joy, excitement, and happiness. These chemical reactions will also produce antidotes. They will change the depressed people's hopeless thoughts and gradually improve. They will also suddenly purify evil spirits. Chapter 744. Specialist Bai, can you be happy every day? A reporter asked. Baya smiled. Of course not. I'll be annoyed because I didn't bring an umbrella on a rainy day. I'll also be stressed because the patient's family doesn't understand me. When I catch a cold, I'll feel pain. When I get tricked, I'll get angry. I'll be depressed because I don't have food to eat. I'll also be happy because people don't like me. There will be many emotional changes in a day. However, with effective control and adjustment, I can quickly cheer myself up. If it's something that can't be solved, then don't worry about it. What if it's something that can't be solved? That's a good question. If it's something that can't be solved, then giving up is another way. As long as you're willing, you'll get it, Baya said calmly. What if it's something that has to be solved? The reporter asked again. It's already unsolvable. If you keep staring at it, then the first person to break down will be the person who needs to solve the problem. Moreover, they won't get what they want. They'll only think about the difficulties that will come after they can't solve it. They'll become pessimistic and even despair. Can I understand it as avoidance? The reporter asked again. In my eyes, it's flexibility. If you think that it's avoidance or you don't agree with my thoughts and concerns, then I can only say that you shouldn't be so serious about unhappiness. It's a small matter anyway. Don't waste your energy and time on it. The one who's unhappy is yourself. I'd rather use this time to do something that makes me happy, Baya replied. There was a thunderous applause below the stage. Baya smiled and nodded. Thank you to the authoritative expert in psychology, Baya, for your guidance, the host said warmly. Then he invited the expert in psychology. An hour later, all the experts in the field had spoken and left their phone numbers. Baya walked out of the venue. 4 policemen in plain clothes walked over. Hello, Miss Bai. Do you still recognize me? I'm George. We worked together on a previous case. Baya recognized him. Hello, are you looking for me? You have a patient named Michelle among your clients, right? George asked. Baya nodded. It's been 3 months since I last saw her. What happened to her? Can we talk somewhere else? George asked in a friendly manner. All right. Baya and his assistant followed George and the other police officers to a cafe not far away. Michelle committed suicide this morning, but it was very strange when she committed suicide. Can you tell me more about her condition? George asked. Suicide? Baya was shocked. No way. Why do you think it's impossible? George asked. The reason she was depressed was because of her son's death. She felt that she had a very important role to play in the death of her son. She didn't watch over him properly, which led to him being kidnapped and killed. After that, she would have nightmares every night. She blamed herself, felt guilty, and had insomnia. In the beginning they had to come every day. Then they had to come every week, and then they had to come for a month. That means she's getting better, right? George asked. Of course I can feel her mental state. 3 months ago she came to see me for the last time. She was in a good mood. She said that she was 3 months pregnant and that this time, she must take good care of her baby and not let anything happen to the baby. So, I don't understand why she would actually commit suicide. Unless there was a huge change in her life that took away her hope. Baya frowned. George and the police officers looked at each other and said to Baya, she committed suicide in a secret room. She cut open her stomach and died from excessive blood loss. She sent a suicide note to her husband through an email. However, she wrote on her Facebook that she wouldn't die and that she would watch all of you die a horrible death. We suspect that she was murdered. But her husband said that she would often have another personality, which made them feel afraid. It was also written in her suicide note. Can I take a look at the suicide note? Baya asked. All right. George passed the phone to Baya. Baya looked at Michelle's suicide note in George's phone and said, this suicide note is fake. George was shocked. Why do you think so? In it, she said that she knew that I was sick. My husband was afraid of hurting me, so he wouldn't tell me anything. She clearly saw me stabbing him with a knife. I think I'm possessed by a ghost. I can't hurt the people who love me, so I decided to end my life. You suspect that when there's a split, the person involved won't know, so there's a loophole? But she also wrote about it on Facebook, George said. Then she should be creating the illusion that she's a mental patient. Her target is her husband. You should talk to her husband, Baya suggested. I understand. Thank you, Miss Bai, George said. You're welcome, Baya said politely and drank the coffee in her cup. George and the others left first. Baya was still leisurely drinking coffee and listening to beautiful music. Sister Baya, aren't you going to intervene in this case? The assistant asked. Of course not. It's an obvious murderer with a clear modus operandi. It's just a small case. They can solve it themselves and it won't cause a sensation. There's no need. Sister Baya, you're amazing. You're so observant. If we don't run a psychology clinic, we can open a private detective agency. Business will definitely be good, the assistant praised. Everyone has their own specialties. Contentment brings happiness. As long as you're happy, Baya said with a smile. Sister Baya, I didn't arrange any patients for you in the afternoon. Are you still going to the clinic in the afternoon? Baya leaned on the sofa. I'm not going. I'll just lie here and listen to music. It's pretty good. You can go back. Oh, then I'll go back first, Sister Baya. I have patients in the afternoon. Okay, Baya replied lazily. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. In her sleep, someone covered her with a blanket. She could feel that person's gentleness and it felt familiar. Baya was in a daze. She squinted her eyes and saw a short-haired man against the light. The light was a little dazzling. She closed her eyes and ignored it. When she woke up, she found a blanket covering her body. She smiled slightly. When she fell asleep, it felt quite warm to be covered by a stranger with a blanket. She didn't want to wake up from the dream. She could even meet a romantic love. She got up and went to the bathroom to wash her face. When she came out, the coffee was already cold. She looked at the time. It was already 5 in the afternoon. She had slept for quite a long time. She pressed the beeper. The waiter smiled and walked forward. Bill, please, Baya said. Chapter 745. Did he pay with an app or cash? Baya asked. If it wasn't cash, she could return the money to him. She wasn't used to letting others pay for her. He paid with cash and he's a very handsome man. He was sitting near you and covered you with a blanket. He's also from country A, the waitress said. Baya smiled. It seemed that she couldn't return the money. She met an old friend in her hometown, gave him some care, and then disappeared into the crowd. She still liked this warm feeling. Thank you. Baya took her bag and walked out of the cafe. Her phone rang. It was the police chief. She picked up the phone. Miss Baya, it's Joan. Are you free now? The police chief asked politely. Baya had worked with the police a few times before. She knew that their call must be about a case. Otherwise they wouldn't call her for no reason. I just came out of the cafe. I'm going to buy some groceries to cook. Tell me if you have something to say. I'm listening, Baya said. She waved the taxi and got in. Can you come to the police station? The governor is there too. He's very interested in you, Joan said. She wasn't interested in the governor, but she worked and lived here. It wouldn't do her any good to offend them. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later. Baya arrived at the police station. A policeman led her to the chief's office. There were 2 guards standing in front of the chief's office. They were expressionless. The policeman pushed the door open and reported. Baya walked over. The governor and the chief stood up politely. I've heard about your deeds. I've always wanted to meet you, but I've been too busy recently. I'm very happy to meet you, the governor said politely. Baya also greeted him. It's an honor to meet you, Governor. Joan often talks about you in front of me. You've cooperated with many cases. I'm thinking of inviting you to join our special operation team. Are you willing? The governor said. I have my own job now. I'm worried that it will affect my clinic if I'm distracted. I'm really sorry, Baya rejected politely. That's not a problem. We can accommodate your time. Moreover, if we manage to get sponsors, we will give you good treatment. Baya smiled. Her grandfather had given her a huge sum of money. With the interest of this sum of money, she would not have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of her life. Running a clinic was just to give her something to do. She would not be idle. She did not care about money. Can I have another thing? Go ahead. The governor didn't agree immediately. Hypnosis. Actually, it's hypnosis of a person's spirit. I've been researching on the brain and I want to get more data. I know of a laboratory that specializes in researching the human brain, but it's not open to the public. I hope that the governor can introduce me there to study, Baya requested. That's not a problem. This time your sponsor and the laboratory sponsor are the same. Brother units shouldn't be a problem. I'll talk to the leader over there. Does that mean you've agreed to join the new team? The governor asked happily. I'm sure, Baya replied. That's great. I'll be the host tonight. I'll invite the others over and let them get to know each other tonight, the governor said to Joan. It's a blessing for our police station that they formed a team. Many unsolvable cases, including the serial killer case, can be solved. It will definitely cause a sensation, Joan said happily. At night, Baya met their team members. Other than her, they were all Americans. Ali, female, black. She was good at martial arts and had good judgment. She used to be a secret agent. Howard, male, retired Special Forces soldier. He was good at martial arts, weapons, and had strong analytical skills. Rui, an elite of the FBA. He had strong investigative and case-solving skills. He had participated in many large-scale cases. Baya had worked with him a few times, so she was familiar with him. The last one was called Ivy. He was a computer expert. He was famous for his dark side. When he was 15, he had already hacked into the national defense. Because he was a talent, an exception was made. Let's have a nice and cool name for our team. Ivy pushed up her glasses and said with a smile. How about Storm? Roy asked. I think Storm is cool and destructive, but because Storm is neutral, I can't hear the sense of justice, Ivy denied. Punisher, Howard said. It sounds like a straight man. It's too straightforward. There's no charm at all, Ivy denied again. Then it's called Sunshine, Howard said again. Sunshine is too warm. It doesn't even feel cool or intimidating, Ivy said in disdain. Then think of a better one, Howard said angrily. Ivy looked at Baya with a smile. She blushed and said in a softer voice, Baya, why don't you give it a name? Baya didn't care about names at all. She didn't even think about it. When she was suddenly called, she was stunned and said, 11. Why 11? Ellie asked in confusion. 11, marked with Arabic numerals, means 11, implying that justice has long arms and there is only one truth, which is that you are the murderer. As Baya spoke, she felt a little embarrassed as she had gone a little too far with her nonsense. Plus, it's November now, the month we form a team. It means that all the cases will be restored to their original state. The murderer won't get away with it, Baya continued. I think it's a good idea. Let's call it 11. It's very subtle and has a good meaning. It won't show off, but it's full of killing intent, Ivy said respectfully. I think it's a good idea. Ellie raised her hand. In fact, it was already approved with 3 votes. The others who didn't think it was a good idea could only raise their hands. All right, your codename will be 11. Chapter 746. Baya became nervous and took out the baton from her bag. She quickly walked around the corner and leaned against the wall, quietly listening to the approaching footsteps. 1, 2, 3. Baya suddenly walked around the corner and looked at the person fearlessly. She frowned and said, "It's you? Why are you following me?" That. Ivy was caught and lowered her head awkwardly. She locked her eyes and didn't dare to look at Baya. Baya frowned. She could tell that he didn't want to hurt her. Ivy gathered her courage and said, "I admire you very much and I've heard a lot about you. I'm not following you. I just want to escort you home and then I'll leave." Baya looked at her young brother and smiled slightly. "Thank you, Ivy. That's very thoughtful of you. Where do you live?" "I live." Ivy looked behind her. "I'm living at my parents' house now. I think I'll move out in the future." "If you move out alone, no one will cook for you and you'll be lonely. If possible, it's better to live with your parents. After you get married, you won't live with them anymore," Baya said gently. Ivy pursed her lips and looked at Baya embarrassedly. She lowered her head and confessed, "I like you very much. I liked you the first time I saw you in the newspaper. Then they came to me. I didn't want to say yes, but when they said you're coming, I agreed immediately." Baya smiled gently. "We're a team. We'll work hard together in the future. Go back early and rest early. I'll see you at the police station tomorrow." "Oh Baya, see you tomorrow." Ivy walked backward until she couldn't see Baya anymore. Then she turned around and left. Baya arrived home. She bought a small bungalow. It had 2.5 floors. The first floor was 120 square meters, the second floor was 120 square meters, and the third floor was 60 square meters. She built a canopy on the top so she could watch the stars from there. She also had a basement and an underground garage. The reason she bought this place was not only because there was a large garden in front, but also a nice yard. She often gathered with her friends in the yard and it felt good. She entered the room and the first thing she did was to turn on the air conditioner and stereo. The room was filled with melodious music. She lit a sandalwood incense stick, went into the room, changed into loose clothes and went to the bathroom. She had a special hot spring bathing pool, which was 4 meters long and 3 meters wide. There was even a fountain inside. She turned on the water first and went to the gym to do half a round of yoga. Then she washed off the clothes she wore today and went to take a bath. She closed her eyes and didn't think about anything. She quietly enjoyed the massage of the water. 15 minutes later, she came out of the sink. Without running the water, she went to the bathroom to wash her clothes and looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She turned off the music, climbed into bed and fell asleep immediately. At 6 o'clock the next morning, she slowly opened her eyes. The first thing she did was turn on the music and light some sandalwood incense. After brushing her teeth and rinsing her mouth, she cooked some porridge in the rice cooker and went to the back garden. He turned on the faucet and the water came out. The water was directly connected to the bathtub, which was environmentally friendly and water-saving. She watered the flowers and plants. She went to wash the bathtub, changed into the clothes she was going to wear today, and washed the pajamas from yesterday. She stir-fried some carrots and shredded meat, and the porridge in the pot was ready. She turned on the TV while eating breakfast and watched the hot news. This is the most tragic serial killer case in history. Whether it's a ghost or a devil in the human world, we need a fair judge. In the end, I hope this serial killer case will end soon, the host said with a passionate voice. She was watching the morning news. Usually, the news at this time was about what happened after 8 o'clock last night. Baya frowned. Was this the case that the assistant wanted to talk about yesterday? She continued to eat breakfast. After eating, she put on exquisite makeup, went to the nearby market to buy fresh ingredients and put them in the refrigerator. Her phone rang. She saw that it was the director and answered. "Baya, can you come to the station at 9:30? It's urgent," the director asked. "Is it about the serial killer case?" Baya guessed. "Yes. This is actually the 4th case in recent years. We've been keeping it a secret because we don't want to cause panic. We're under a lot of pressure. Now that it's out, the pressure is even greater," Cheong said helplessly. "I know, but I have a patient at 9 in the morning. I might have to be there at 10:30, Baya said. Okay. We'll wait for you," the director said and hung up. Baya usually rode her bike to work, but she chose to drive to the police station today. 10 minutes after the car drove out, she saw a masked man in black quickly crossing the road. There were 4 or 5 people chasing after him. Because he was crossing the road, Baya drove very slowly so as not to bump into someone. Suddenly there was a bang. Someone fired. Baya braked immediately. The man in the mask leaned on her window and the necklace fell out. Baya glanced at it with blurred vision. The picture in the necklace seemed to be her, but before she could see it clearly, the man in the mask closed the necklace, glanced at her and quickly disappeared on the road. Baya was a little dazed. How could that man have her picture in his necklace? She must have seen it wrong. Beep beep beep. Someone behind honked and urged Baya. Baya came back to herself and drove away. She looked at the rearview mirror and saw that the man in the mask had already shaken off the pursuers. She went to the clinic. The patient was a 14-year-old child. However, American children developed better. Although he was only 14, he already looked like a young man. He was tall and strong, had a pale complexion and had freckles on his face. From her point of view, the young man was very good-looking. He had big round eyes, deep double eyelids, a high nose bridge, thin lips, and was tall and thin. When he saw Baya, he stared at her and said directly, "I want to play with you." Baya smiled slightly. Since his parents came to find her, this child had more or less psychological problems. From his mother's phone call, she learned that he had sex with women several times and then beat them, as if he had changed into a different person. "Can you tell me the reason?" Baya asked very patiently. The premise of treating a mental patient was to know the cause of the disease. "You're very beautiful. You have delicate makeup and a good figure. You're my type," the boy said directly without any awkwardness. Chapter 747. The boy's eyes were filled with panic, and his pupils dilated. He carefully looked to the side, and his whole body was trembling in fear. He said, "I didn't hit them. It was him. He hit them." Baya had seen this kind of patient many times, so he was very calm. He asked, "When he hit them, were you there?" The boy nodded. "I was there, but I was tied up by him. He didn't let me intervene. I watched him hit those girls. I was very scared. I was afraid that he would hit me too." "You are a very strong boy." "No, he is much stronger than me. He is 2 meters tall and his arms are as thick as my thighs. He is very strong. I tried to stop him, but he pushed me away. I rolled down the stairs and was in the hospital for a week," the boy explained. "Can you tell me what he looks like?" Baya asked. The boy thought hard and shook his head. "I don't know. I don't dare to look at him. I don't dare. He told me not to look." "Then do you know why he keeps following you?" Baya asked. "What?" The boy was confused. "I don't know. Why does he keep following me?" Baya smiled. "If he comes out to look for you again, you must take a good look at his face, his clothes, and remember every detail of his body. That way I can find him and help you defeat him. You are so weak. Can you do it?" The man said doubtfully. Baya smiled confidently. "Of course, I have a secret treasure. No matter how strong he is, he will not be able to withstand a single blow from me. The problem is, you have to help me find him first." The boy's expression relaxed a little. He returned to the original topic. "Can I have sex with you?" "No," Baya answered directly. "What?" The boy was puzzled. "You are still a child. The customs of your country are open. In fact, early contact with sex or even infatuation will cause poor health and early death." "Really?" In China there was a dynasty called the Qing dynasty. When the children of the royal family reached the age of 12, the adults in the family would find them a bed attendant to let the children understand the matters between a man and a woman, so that they wouldn't be at a loss on their wedding night. However, children of this age have poor self-control and will be addicted to it. Other than stunting, it will also affect their health. Therefore, none of the princes live a long life. In fact, there are very few who are tall, Baya narrated in a relaxed manner. "Is what you said true?" The boy asked in fear. "There's a lot of information on the internet. You can look it up. Also, can you tell me something that left the deepest impression on you?" Baya easily changed the topic and controlled the conversation. The boy's eyes were locked. He didn't want to say anything. "In exchange, I will tell you something that will leave a deep impression on you," Baya guided him in a friendly manner. "You first." The boy was still a little guarded. "When I was born, my father was with another woman. My mother was divorced and she had a mental breakdown. When I was young, she used a knife to slit my wrist. She also slit her own wrist. She wanted to commit suicide with me, but we were saved by our neighbor, Baya said calmly. The boy frowned. How old were you then? When I was 5 or 6, she was sent to a mental hospital. I didn't have anyone to adopt me, so I went to an orphanage, Baya continued. It's your turn. The boy paused and said, I witnessed a murder. My parents divorced a long time ago and my father married another woman. That woman was very bad. She often beat me, and when my father wasn't home, she would sleep with other men on my father's bed. I found out many times that she did it for me. She wouldn't let me tell you, so she threatened me. If I told my father, she would kill me. What happened after that? Baya asked. My father caught her in bed with another man and beat her to death. My father went to jail and my mother took me away, the boy said. Baya understood the cause of his illness. He was traumatized when he was young and subconsciously felt that women were bad. In order to protect himself, he had been suppressing it. He suffered from mania and fantasized that a tall man would come out to protect him. How old were you that year? Baya asked. 7, no 8, the boy said. Follow me, Baya said and brought him to the bathroom. Look at yourself in the mirror. The boy looked at himself in the mirror. Do you like to play football? Baya asked. Yes, very much, the boy said. What's your dream? Baya asked again. To be a PE teacher. Look, you're handsome, bright and strong. Girls like you should like you. I can see confidence, bravery and kindness in your eyes. Unfortunately, there's a person who's always following you. He's brought you a lot of trouble. He's made you get scolded by your parents. He even made you see a doctor. He's also made the women you like stay away from you and be afraid of you. How about we find him together and I destroy him? Baya asked with a smile. The boy nodded with certainty. I'll give you a number. When you see him, tell me, okay? Baya said patiently. The boy looked at Baya gratefully and nodded with trust. When I grow up, can I chase you? The boy asked. Yes, Baya said with a smile. When he grew up, there were still 2 years left. Many things would happen in these 2 years. Children's words shouldn't be taken too seriously. The boy left happily. Baya looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 9:50. She had to rush to the police station. The assistant came over. Sister Baya, many people called to make appointments with you. Yesterday's seminar had a good effect, the assistant said happily. I'll be very busy in the future. I won't be able to see everyone. Register everyone's situation first. Then you can set a time for them based on the situation. If possible, take a look and see if there's anyone you can see. Sister Baya, our business is so good. Why don't we hire more doctors? The assistant asked confusedly. I opened a psychology clinic not to earn more money, but to have something to do. I'll go out first. I won't be coming to the office in the afternoon. See you tomorrow, Baya said with a smile. She went out to the basement car park. Suddenly, a man rushed out and hugged her. She was shocked. The electric baton was in her bag. She couldn't get it when she was hugged by him. Dr. Bai, I like you, the man said while panting. He pushed Baya against the car door and took off his pants. Baya couldn't move at all. He had just taken off his pants when he was pulled away by a strong force. Before he could see who it was, he felt a numbness on his back and fainted. Baya looked at the masked man who suddenly appeared. He had a necklace with her picture on it. Chapter 748. The man stared at her. Because he was wearing a mask, she couldn't see his eyes clearly. However, she felt that he should know her. Otherwise, why would he wear a necklace with her picture? Speak, Baya urged again. You don't want to know who I am, the man said. His voice was low and hoarse, like the last note of a cello. It made people feel a little sad. She rejected this sad feeling and did not continue to ask. Thank you for saving me. You're welcome. You saved me in the morning. We're even now, the man said. He turned around and quickly disappeared into the basement. Baya came back to his senses. There were some things that he wouldn't worry about if he didn't think about them. There were some things that he wouldn't be in danger if he didn't touch them, no matter how curious he was. She squatted down and pulled the mask off the man on the ground. She had met this man a few times. He seemed to be the salesman of the real estate company next door. She dialed a number. Joan, I've had an accident. Please send someone to the basement of my clinic. Asterisk. When everything was settled, it was already 11:30 p.m. when Baya arrived at the police station. Everyone else had arrived. She was also very apologetic. She nodded at her team members and said, I'm sorry. In order to express my apology, I'll treat you to lunch. It's fine. We've just arrived. Let's sign the contract individually first, Ivy said immediately. Baya smiled gratefully at Ivy. The director's assistant, who was also Detective Shen, entered the room, looked around and said, "Since everyone is here, I will first talk about this urgent case. Does it have anything to do with the serial murders last night?" Rui asked. "Yes, actually, this is the fourth case this year." Shin turned on the projector. "This case is very strange. They are all families with dead husbands. No matter how many people there are, they will only leave the youngest child alive. One child is 5 years old, one child is 6 years old, one child is 3 years old, and one child is 1 year old. The second child is 2 years old." "So, it's not really a massacre," Ali interrupted. "This case is very special. The strangest thing is that the murderer is her dead husband." "What does that mean? Are the 4 serial cases all committed by the deceased husbands?" Howard asked, puzzled. "Yes, the testimonies of the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 3-year-old all said that their fathers came back and then they all died." Shin frowned. As he spoke, he felt scared and shivered. "Tell me in detail." Baya locked his eyes on the screen and said. Shin brought up the first case. "This is the first case. It happened in March. The victims were Annie's family. Annie's husband's parents, Annie and their youngest son, who was 5 years old. The child said that his father had passed away due to illness and had been dead for half a year. He was very happy when he suddenly came back, but his father told him not to tell anyone and to stay in the same room with him. Before he knew it, he fell asleep. The next day his grandparents disappeared. He told his mother, but she didn't believe him. But his father came back and took her away. After that, his mother never came back. But at night, his father came back and slept with him. When he woke up again, he found that his parents were gone. He saw it. After that, this child asked the neighbors if they had seen his family. His neighbors found something strange and called the police. The police found 3 bodies in the basement. Annie had been raped and there was no male DNA left in her body. Was there any skin tissue in Annie's fingernails or in her mouth? Roy asked. No, Annie's hands and feet were tied and her own clothes were stuffed in her mouth. She was strangled to death. Through practice, it was found that she was sexually aroused, Shin said. They were open-minded people. When Baya heard that, she couldn't help but blush. How did Annie's parents die? They were poisoned. Through tests, it was found that they died of fluoride. Annie's parents had high blood pressure and the fluoride was mixed into the medicine for high blood pressure, Shin explained. Let's talk about the second case, Baya said. The second case happened in May. It was Mary's family. She was pregnant with 2 children. Her husband had passed away 3 years ago due to a car accident. She had a 12-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. The son said that his father was back and wanted to take him out to play. He fell asleep in the car. When he woke up, he heard that his family was all dead. Mary and her 12-year-old daughter stabbed each other to death. Both of them were raped and there was no DNA left in their bodies. You said that the 12-year-old daughter was raped. Then it shouldn't be the biological father. Is this person a demon? Or does he know how to disguise himself? Howard frowned. Is there any financial loss? Baya asked. There's no loss in the bank account, but I'm not sure about the family. The witnesses were all children. Children don't know much about adults' finances, Shin explained. What about the third case? Ali asked. The third case happened in July. Hess was a beautiful female model. Her husband was a gangster. He was stabbed to death because he had an argument with someone. They had a 3-year-old child. The child said that his father was back. The murderer stayed in Hess's house for 2 months. In August, Hess wrote a sentence on Facebook. I feel so happy. I want to be happy forever. And then? Ali asked anxiously. She found it unbelievable. In October, Hess's friend came to visit Hess. She said that she hadn't seen Hess for 3 months. She found Hess's body. She was dismembered and locked in the bathroom, Shin said. Where's the child? No one took care of the child for a month. Ali asked. There was enough milk powder, biscuits and snacks at home. The child ate milk powder and biscuits alone. When she was found, she was malnourished. Her eyes were hollow but her body was fine. Are there no surveillance cameras around the neighborhood? S was a female model. There should be surveillance cameras installed at home, right? Ali asked curiously. There are surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. We did see a man's back but we didn't see his face. There might be surveillance cameras in Hess's house, but we couldn't find them. The fourth case was last night. The one who survived was the 2-year-old baby. The others were burnt to a crisp. The autopsy report didn't come out. Since he entered the room, didn't he leave any fingerprints? Howard asked. He didn't leave any trace. It's like a ghost did it. We can't do anything, Shin said helplessly. Baya, you're a psychologist. After hearing all this, can you give us a profiling? Ali asked. Everyone's eyes were on Baya, waiting for her to say, Hello everyone, I'm Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 749. Baya looked at the projection and tapped the table rhythmically with her fingers. She said calmly, male around 30 years old 1.75 to 1.8 meters tall, thin, highly educated, high IQ, good EQ, unemployed, parents dead, brothers also dead, has a good fortune. Yes, he has a car. The car should be a luxurious one. He has average looks and is very eloquent. He usually looks harmless. It's easy to hide. Other than these, what else? Shin asked anxiously. His psychological quality is quite good. The first case seemed to be perfect. He raised the knife without hesitation. It shouldn't be his first time committing crimes. Moreover, the frequency of his crimes is very stable, which means that he has developed a habit of committing crimes. He should have moved here at the beginning of this year. Work with the other states and see if they have similar cases. Find the first case. The more flaws the murderer left, the more clues we'll get, Baya continued. I think there's one thing. Did you notice? Since the murderer disguised himself as the deceased, where did he get the files of the deceased? Ali asked. We thought of that too. It could be a funeral parlor, a cemetery, or a police station. However, the areas where the crime happened are very far away, so we can't find any traces of the murderer, Shin said dejectedly. Why does he always leave one alive? Ivy asked in confusion. He has a criminal habit. It might be related to his past, Baya replied. Next, what's the direction of your investigation? Shin asked anxiously. The others looked at each other. As an experienced FBI agent, Rue said, We'll go to the crime scene to take a look first. Contact the other police departments. Let me know if there's any news. I'll talk to those kids, Baya said softly. All right, I'll arrange it, said Shin. Baya smiled and stood up. Baya, can you say anything else? I'd like to hear your thoughts again, Ivy invited. After saying that, her face turned slightly red. After the murderer got the files, he followed them for a long time. He might have appeared in the victim's home with an inconspicuous identity. He knew the situation in the victim's home like the back of his hand. On the day he was ready to take action, he planned in advance to let the others die, Baya said softly. So, you're saying that the people around the deceased might be the murderer? Roy asked. To be more precise, we'll get the surveillance footage of the people around the deceased's house for the past 2 months. See if there's any overlap between the victims, Baya said. Ivy was angry. When Shin asked for our direction, why didn't you say that we're a team? This isn't the time for your heroism. Baya looked at Ali calmly. Originally, I wanted to narrow the scope of this information to you after asking the children. It's not about individual heroism. Actually, we don't have to do this, right? The police station will cooperate with us. Hearing Baya's calm tone, Ailey didn't know what to say. However, her heart was still unhappy. Let's go. We'll go to the scene and let some people try to act tough. Baya smiled faintly and didn't argue. He didn't have to say anything. Baya, please come and sign the contract for your part. The director has already contacted the Brain Research Center. You can go anytime, just contact the person in charge. The people over there are also from Country A. Shin said with a smile and handed the business card to Baya. Baya saw that the other party's name was Black. This name was very strange. It could not be considered a name. When translated, it meant black. She looked at his title, the head of the security department, and entered his name into her phone. She followed Shin to the HR department to sign the contract. They offered her a high salary of $1 million USD a year. She would be able to do her own thing when there were no cases, which was equivalent to a long-term part-time job. She quickly wrote her name on the contract. Should I take you to see the children now? Shin asked. Baya nodded. Sure. They don't have anyone to adopt them now. They are all in the orphanage. These children are very pitiful. Because the case is too strange and related to their father, the other relatives don't dare to claim them, Shin explained. This was human nature. Baya understood it the best. Bring me there. On the way, Baya bought 5 boxes of fruit-flavored candies. She ate one for herself. Soon they arrived at the orphanage. She followed Shin to the director's office. When Shin expressed his intentions, the director complained to Shin, These kids are weird. The other kids are afraid of them. They even injured a nurse last time. Now they are grounded. Shin was speechless when he heard that. Baya frowned and looked at the director. Before you felt that they were strange, did you see them as normal people? They were treated as monsters in the orphanage and were called monsters. After a long time, they also felt that they were monsters. In your eyes, they are the symbol of demons. Why don't they do what demons do? The director's face turned ugly. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that we are wrong? We have to take care of many children every day. The most troublesome thing is these mischievous weirdos. So, you locked them up and made them even more resentful. From a young age, their personalities have been distorted. Before they came here, they were the treasures of their parents. They are just like normal people. Moreover, the oldest among them is only 6 years old. Who are you? The director's eyes widened in displeasure. Shun looked troubled and introduced, she is the famous psychologist Baya. The director stopped talking. She remembered that she had heard about this famous psychologist from her subordinates last time. She changed her attitude and said with a smile, I'm sorry, we are also looking for a solution. If you can tell us, that would be the best. I'll talk about it after I see them. Get the youngest over here first, Baya said. Okay, I'll get someone to find him, the director said and gave the assistant a look. The assistant nodded and walked away in a hurry. Baya glanced at her and said to the director, when I ask questions later, I hope we can be alone. Is that okay? Sure, but those children sometimes seem to be crazy. Dr. Baya, you have to be careful. Stay 2 meters away from them, the director reminded. Baya smiled. They are just children. Don't worry, I will protect myself. Chapter 750. Baya squatted down in front of the child. The child was very pretty. His eyes were big and blue with long eyelashes. His face was round and fair like a doll. However, his eyes were red and he looked at Baya warily. He pursed his lips and did not move or speak. Shin asked the others to leave the room first. Baya glanced at the window and saw that the director was still there. She smiled and took out 5 candies from the box. She asked the child, there are 5 candies here. Apple-flavored, watermelon-flavored, strawberry-flavored, grape-flavored, and lemon-flavored. Which one do you like? The child stared at Baya. Seeing that Baya was harmless, he carefully took the grape-flavored one. Baya took the candy from him, peeled off the wrapper, and handed it to him. The little guy put it in his mouth. Baya also took a grape-flavored fruit candy from the box and put it in her mouth. She asked casually, do you miss Daddy? The child looked at Baya and shook his head. Daddy is already in heaven. Did you not see Daddy yesterday? Baya asked immediately. The child shook his head. It was the day before yesterday. I saw him. I think he was Daddy. He brought me to buy hamburgers. I fell asleep while eating. When I woke up, the child's eyes were red and they were about to fall out. Mommy, I want mommy, I want mommy. He looked outside the window. Mommy, mommy. Baya looked at his helpless look and felt a little sour in her heart. He was still a 2-year-old child. Perhaps he still did not understand that he was already an orphan. Baya took out a box of candies from her bag and shook it. There was a sound from the box. The child was attracted by the sound and looked at Baya. Baya handed the box to the child. I have a box of fruit candies here. You can eat them all. Be good, okay? The child's tears were still hanging in the corner of his eyes. He took the fruit candies from Baya's hand. Baya did not give it to him. She smiled and said, can you answer a few questions for me? Other than Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa, who do you like the most? The child thought for a moment. I like Uncle Jack the most. He has a lot of toys and he even gave me a lot. Apart from Uncle Jack? Baya asked. The child shook his head and took the candy from Baya's hand. Baya gave it to him and said to the outside, call the 5-year-old over. The assistant carried the child away. After a while, she returned with a 5-year-old boy. The little boy was furious and looked at Baya in an unruly manner. His eyes were filled with hatred and killing intent. Baya smiled and gently said, don't be afraid, I won't hurt you. I'm a good friend of your mother, and she asked me to fulfill your wish of eating. What do you want to eat? Were you really sent by my mother? The little boy asked in disbelief. Let's go to my car and talk, okay? Baya walked in front and opened the door. The director blocked Baya's way. You want to bring him out? That's not very good. After all, we need to manage the orphanage. It's not good to break the rules and regulations. What rules and regulations did you break? Baya scrutinized her and asked. Her eyes flashed like sharp X-rays. Children in the orphanage are not allowed to go out. If not, they will become wild, the director insisted. Shin, call the director and ask him to contact the governor. Then ask the governor to call the director and ask if I can bring a child out for a meal, Baya said sternly. The director felt guilty. Then you guys should leave secretly. Don't let other children see you. Neil, don't talk nonsense when you go out. Don't cause trouble. If not, your little friend will be in trouble, the director warned the child. Baya smiled and looked at the director. From the assistant's nervousness, the director's strong objection, and the warning, she was sure that this orphanage had an unspeakable secret. Let's go, Neil. Baya walked in front. Neil lowered his head and pursed his lips. He followed behind Baya. Neil, what do you want to eat? Baya asked. I want to eat hamburgers, Neil said. All right, I'll bring you there now, Baya said with a smile. Then she looked at Shin. Shin, help me do something. Baya got into the car and passed Neil a box of fruit candy. She asked casually, You don't like the director? I don't like her, Neil said with certainty. He looked very serious. Why? She always hits me and scolds me. She doesn't give us any food. Also, she beat Dirk to death. I saw it with my own eyes, Neil said angrily. Dirk? He's a 12-year-old kid. He takes good care of me. He's the only one who secretly gives me food, but he can't talk. He was beaten to death by the director because he gave me food, Neil said angrily. Shin, I think it's necessary for you to investigate this dean, Baya said to Shin. Okay, I'll do it when I get back. Baya rubbed Neil's head. I'll help you. Neil looked at Baya with a gentler expression. Thank you. Neil, do you know an Uncle Jack? Baya asked casually. I do. He used to give me a lot of toys, but after Mom's accident he never appeared again, Neil said sadly. Do you remember what he looks like? Uncle Jack is a clown. He has colorful hair, a red nose, and a big mouth. How many times have you met him? Neil pursed his lips and hesitated. I promised Uncle Jack that I wouldn't tell him. He's very nice to me. He buys me a lot of toys and gives me good food. But Uncle Jack hasn't appeared for a long time. Maybe he's sick or he can't find you. I want to help you, Baya said gently as she rubbed Neil's head. Neil was convinced. Uncle Jack often comes to my house when there's no one else. He asks people to keep our relationship a secret. I didn't tell anyone. Neil, think about it. Did he appear 2 months before your dad came back? Neil shook his head. I don't remember. Then do you remember the first time you met? Baya asked. Mom held my hand as we walked in the mall. We met Uncle Jack and he gave me toys and roses. A few days later, Uncle Jack came to find me and gave me new toys. He promised me that as long as I didn't tell anyone, he would come and give me more toys. Oh, he came every 3 days and gave me a toy each time. I got a total of 7 toys, Neil said. Baya understood. Which toys are there now? Where are they? Neil shook his head, his eyes red. I don't have any toys. Mom, Grandpa, or Grandma. Grow up well, study hard, learn skills, and you'll still have your family, Baya consoled. The car stopped in front of a McDonald's. Baya bought enough hamburgers for him. They walked out of the McDonald's. A car rushed towards her. Baya stopped moving. Scenes flashed through her mind. It seemed like there was a car that wanted to hit her. Then a man appeared and saved her. She couldn't remember what that man looked like, but her heart suddenly hurt. She pressed on her chest to cushion the pain. She didn't have the energy to care about the car rushing towards her. Chapter 751. Bang. There was a loud sound. The car that was about to hit Baya was knocked away by a container truck. 4 policemen quickly got out and pointed their guns at the car. Get out of the car, Shin shouted. He looked at the black car window and opened the door. He was shocked to see the assistant of the orphanage in the driver's seat. Why are you here? The assistant looked at Shin in fear. When he saw that he was caught, his face turned pale. Bring him to the police station first, Shin said. The policeman pressed the assistant against the car. How did you know that someone would hit you with a car? Shin asked Baya curiously. Baya had asked him to prepare a car and wait at the door when she was eating. Someone might hit her with a car and he was right. Go to the orphanage now and arrest all the adults. You have to be quick. Otherwise, when they come to their senses, the children in the orphanage will be in danger, Baya said anxiously. Okay, I'll do it now. Shin quickly called the police station chief. Baya held Neil's hand and got into her car. She said gently, Don't be afraid. Anyone who does bad things will be brought to justice. Will the police arrest the dean as well? Neil asked in a clear voice. Yes, justice will prevail over evil. There will be good uncles and aunties to take care of you and accompany you as you grow up happily. They said that we are monsters and no one wants to come near us, Neil said with red eyes. Baya hugged Neil in her arms. How can you be monsters? It's just that every future hero has an extraordinary childhood. It's because God wants you to be tougher and stronger than others since you were young. You know how to take care of yourself so that when you grow up, you can become a great person. Like Spider-Man? Neil asked. Baya smiled. You will become an even greater person than Spider-Man. Spider-Man didn't know as much as you did when he was 5 years old. Neil nodded. I will definitely become someone braver than Spider-Man. Of course. Baya smiled. I'll bring you to the police station and see how they catch the bad guys. At 3 in the afternoon, Baya listened to the music and sipped her coffee leisurely. Neil sat cross-legged on the sofa and flipped through the comic she had given him. She knocked on the door. Come in, Baya said and put down the coffee cup. They're all recruiting. It turns out that the orphanage is secretly an illegal organ trafficking agency. The director also confessed. She killed a child, Shin Zhonghuan reported. Well, what about the children in the orphanage? Baya asked worriedly. The director has already told the governor that he will immediately send some people from other orphanages to take care of these children, Shin said. Are the people we sent reliable? The governor is also worried about the possibility of child abuse, so he asked the police to cooperate and station 2 police officers there to monitor them at all times. Baya nodded and said to Neil, now that you have good uncles and aunties to take care of you, you also have the police to protect you. From now on, you can happily spend time with your friends. Thank you, Neil said sincerely. Will 11's team members return to the company today? Baya asked. They'll be back at 3:30. Okay. The police officers sent Neil back. The others were not back yet. Baya looked through her phone and thought of the person called Black. She took out her business card and made a call. Hello, are you Black? Baya asked politely. The other party was silent and did not speak. Baya thought that the signal was bad. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, he replied. Baya's heart trembled. This voice sounded familiar. It's like this. I want to come to the Research Institute at 1300 hours tomorrow afternoon. Is that okay? Yes, call me when you're here. Black said. Baya frowned. You're the person who saved me, right? I can recognize your voices. The other party fell silent again. Hello, Baya said. He replied, yes, but I hope you can keep it a secret. Baya replied. He hung up the phone. She felt that he was a very cold person. Moreover, he was very guarded and mysterious. But why did he have her photo on him? 3:30. The 11 team members were back. Did you guys find anything? Shin asked anxiously. They had been bombarded by reporters today. The director was in a bad mood and was angry. As the director's assistant, Shin was not having a good time either. Rui shook his head. The culprit is very clean. There are no clues at all? Have you seen the photo album? It would be best if it was taken at home recently, Baya asked. There is a photo album. I flipped through it but didn't find anything special, Ailey said. Can I see the photo album too? Baya asked. Yes, I brought the photo album. Ailey took out the photo album from her briefcase and passed it to Baya. Baya put on disposable gloves and flipped through the album casually. When she saw what she was looking for, she pointed at the stuffed bear on the sofa. Did you guys find this toy at home? Roy looked over. I really didn't notice it. What about this? Baya pointed at a toy truck in the corner. Roy shook his head. This thing is so small. I really didn't notice it. What's wrong with it? The culprit is a person who pretends to be a clown. His nickname is Uncle Jack. He usually pretends to be a clown and gives toys to children at various shopping malls or amusement parks. He also gives roses to the children's mothers. When the mother receives the roses happily, the children will naturally lower their guard against strangers when they see that the mother is happy, Baya said. And then? Ailey was impatient and asked. He will cast a net and use the surveillance in the toys to monitor the family. He will observe and find the target of his attack as well as the time gap. Ailey didn't believe it. How free must he be? After all, it's not easy to find a family where the husband died. He is very patient and has his own way of judging. He will use a month to find and observe the family. Then he will use another month to slowly test the waters. Finally, he will make his move, Baya explained. That's impossible. According to you, this case can be solved just like that, with just you? What do you want us to do? Is everything we've done today for nothing? Ali complained. Baya smiled. I think you are using your time to target me instead of doing what you should be doing. I just can't stand people being arrogant and self-righteous, Ali said in disdain. Whether it's arrogant and self-righteous, we will know in a week's time, Baya said calmly. Hello everyone, I am Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Love Story Bookstore and listen to the radio dramas adapted from novels. Chapter 752. Then she looked at Ivy. I'll have to trouble you for the next few days. You have to hack into the surveillance cameras of the major shopping malls and amusement parks and find the clown. The clown we're looking for has a lot of toys and roses, but there are surveillance cameras in his toys. If you find such a clown, you can arrest him immediately. Ivy pursed her lips, shrugged and rolled her eyes, still not believing Baya's judgment. Okay, I'll do it right away. If I find such a clown, I'll report it immediately, Ivy said in high spirits. Baya smiled. Thank you. She stood up and prepared to leave. Didn't someone say he was going to treat us? He's going back on his word again, Ivy said sarcastically. Baya looked at the time on her watch. See you at Barbara's Seafood at 6. She went home and felt a little tired. She habitually turned on the air conditioner, turned on the music, lit a sandalwood incense and lay on the sofa, closing her eyes to rest. Suddenly, the image of a car rushing towards her flashed in her mind. Baya opened her eyes, which were filled with unknown fear. She stood up, increased the volume of the sandalwood incense, poured a glass of water and gulped it down. She took a deep breath and gradually calmed down. She didn't go back to sleep, afraid that her imagination would run wild. She changed her clothes and went to the gym to practice yoga. When she came out, she looked at her watch. It was 17:20. She took a quick shower, changed her clothes, put on exquisite makeup and went to Barbara's Seafood. Just as she reached the door, she heard someone shout, "Black." Baya stopped in her tracks and looked towards the source of the voice. She saw the side profile of a man from Country A. His side profile was very good. He was resolute and cold with a playful contour. He was wearing a black suit and a white shirt. The buttons on his sleeves were all meticulously buttoned. He was very cold, and when he raised his hand, he had the elegance of an aristocrat. He was a person with an extraordinary bearing. Was it Black whom she was going to meet tomorrow afternoon? Baya, Ivy shouted. Baya came back to her senses and looked at Ivy. She smiled. You've been here for a long time? Ivy was surprised. How did you know? The parking lot is more than 300 meters from here, and the temperature here is much lower than outside. You look like you've been here for a long time, Baya explained. I think you're not just a psychologist. You're even more professional than the police, Ivy said. In fact, they are all the same. Many professional police officers also study psychology and make judgments based on meticulous observation. An important part of psychology research is life experience, and as a police officer, you need to think more projectively, Baya said patiently. You don't look old. I read that you're 31 years old, but you look like you're 21, Ivy said shyly. Baya chuckled. That's because girls in a nation are more petite compared to American girls. That's why they have this illusion. I've seen you stand on your own 2 feet. I should be 7 years older than you. Ivy shrugged and hinted, I don't care about age or nationality. Baya chuckled and answered ambiguously, you're so outstanding. You'll definitely find a girl that suits you. Let's find a place to sit down first. They should be here by now. Baya saw a table for 10 and walked over. Black turned his head and looked at her. His gaze was deep and distant, so deep that it seemed as if he had entered another ethereal world. After Baya sat down, a waiter came over and handed over the menu. She handed the menu to Evie. Order whatever you want. Black opened the menu and said in surprise, it's so expensive. A king crab costs $100 per caddy, and a 10 caddy is $1,000. Just order if you like it. It's okay. Baya said indifferently. He put his hand by his mouth and said, let me tell you a secret. I own this shop. Ivy's eyes widened in disbelief. Really? I like seafood, so I opened this shop. The business is quite good. You'll know when you try it. All of them are flown over. They're alive and they're raised in the cleanest seawater, Baya said. Ivy still could not believe it. Is it really yours? Don't tell anyone. Baya smiled and said to the waiter, the table over there is $15. The table for Americans is free. Yes. The waiter nodded respectfully. Ivy believed him. Then I'll order the king crab. I'll keep it a secret. Okay. Baya believed him. She waved when she saw that the other colleagues had arrived. Wow. Ellie looked at the fresh seafood in the middle of the hall in disbelief. It's hard to imagine. The style of this shop is amazing. It's like coming to a real seaside hotel. Baya gestured. Please sit. She said to the waiter, bring 3 more menus. Soon, the waiter brought the menus over and distributed them to the others. Ellie looked at the price list. Baya, you make a lot of money as a psychologist, right? My grandpa is rich, Baya said frankly. Order whatever you want to eat. The king crab here is pretty good. There are also oysters. Then we'll have 1 king crab each. You don't mind, right? Ivy said. Ellie, a king crab weighs 5 pounds. Can you finish it? Ivy said indignantly. I can finish it alone. Did you eat yours? It's Baya who wants to treat us, Allie said sarcastically. It's okay. We'll have 1 each, Baya said indifferently. I also want 5 oysters and a sashimi. Alright, you guys can order the rest. Ellie closed the menu. I can't finish 1 king crab. Half is enough. Since you said oysters are delicious, I'll have 2 oysters, Howard said. Other than oysters, conchas are also delicious. Give me a few more conchas, Baya suggested. Alright, give me 2 more conchas, Howard said. I want that conch too. I want 5 too, Ellie said. The other men looked at Ellie unhappily. They all felt that she was going too far. I'll have the same as Howard. I can't finish any more and it won't taste good overnight, Rue said with a smile. Rue, what do you mean? You guys can't even finish me. Are you still men? Ellie said sarcastically. Be careful that you don't get fat, Ivy said bluntly. Don't worry. I'm the kind of person who doesn't get fat just by eating, Ellie said arrogantly. I'll have the same as Howard, Ivy said. Baya smiled and said to the waiter, 15 conchas, 2 sashimi, 3 king crabs, 5 lettuce salad, and a bottle of red wine. Yes. The waiter wrote it down and turned to place the order. Chapter 753. Baya looked at table 15. It was already empty. There was no one there. Baya smiled. He paid through an app and with cash. App, the waiter replied. Give him the money back. I don't need him to pay, Baya said gently. Yes. The waiter poured them red wine respectfully and stood at the side. Baya, you're so rich. Why did you join our team? Ailey asked, puzzled. Of course it's not for money. Baya raised her glass elegantly and took a sip. Then why? Ailey asked curiously. Baya shrugged. She didn't want to say. I heard that you're good at psychological profiling. Can you profile me? Ailey said. She smirked and her eyes shone with confidence. Baya looked at Ali. After your parents divorced, they remarried. After they remarried, they each had a child. You excelled in your studies and were one of the best in your class, but you were despised by your classmates. You thought it was because of your family, so you hated your family so much that you wanted to destroy it. So, you seduced your stepfather, but your mother kicked you out. Ali looked at Ali and said, your parents got divorced and remarried. Ailey widened her eyes in shock. She said in disbelief, how did you know all this? I didn't tell anyone. Even my information is fake. Do you have the ability to read minds and see through people's hearts? Baya flipped her hair. I don't have any ill intentions. If you don't want me to continue, I won't say it. Ailey finished the wine in her glass. I don't want to hear it anymore. The atmosphere became awkward. Baya, can you tell us how you did it? Rue asked curiously. We often say that personality determines success or failure. That's because personality determines behavior, and behavior leads to results. With a lot of details, microexpressions, and physiological reactions, we can make a more reasonable profiling. Baya didn't hide anything. They wanted to learn and she was willing to share. Then I want to learn more from you. It'll be very helpful for me to find the murderer, Rue said with a smile. My pleasure. Ivy raised her hand and said eagerly, I want to learn too. I think it's very interesting. I've always liked psychology and I've been paying attention to it for a long time. Yes. Is there anyone you can't see through? Howard asked curiously. Of course. Some people are very good at controlling their actions, emotions, and micro-expressions. In front of you, they are like the deep blue of the ocean. You can imagine them, but you can't figure them out, Baya explained. Have you ever met someone like that? Ali asked curiously. Baya paused for a moment. I do have a memory, but I can't remember the details. While they were chatting, the 3 king crabs were cut into 6 pieces and served to them. Each person also had a portion of the sauce, and there were 6 flavors of the sauce. Wow, it looks really good, Ivy exclaimed and licked her lips. Let's eat, everyone. Don't stand on ceremony, said Baya. Everyone took half a crab, broke off the leg and peeled it. There was a lot of white and tender meat. They dipped it in the sauce and ate it. It's so delicious. Can you treat us again next time we come? Ali asked while eating. Before Baya could answer, Ivy said, there are 5 people in our team. We should take turns. It's your turn next time. Why is it my turn? Baya is rich. What's wrong with letting her treat us? Ali said matter-of-factly. Bill Gates is richer. Why don't you let him treat you? Ivy said bluntly. Why are you so agitated? Did I ask you to treat us? Baya hasn't said anything yet. Why are you so anxious? Are you in a hurry to reincarnate? Ali scolded in a weird tone. Ivy blushed. I just don't blame you for bullying others. Did I bully you? Little Four Eyes, if you piss me off, I'll beat you up. Ali raised her fist. We're all colleagues. We're a team, Howard said in a deep voice. I'm in a good mood today. I don't want to talk to you. Oh yeah, Howard, how much did you sign on the contract? Ali gossiped. Howard looked at Ali calmly. How much did you sign? I don't have much money. I just don't want to be a mercenary anymore. So Joan agreed to erase my record, Ali said. Baya chuckled. What are you laughing at? Ali looked at Baya unhappily. Your eyes are looking up and your nostrils are shrinking. That means you're lying, Baya said calmly. Ali was unhappy. What's so great about studying psychology? I think you're not honest. You're not even honest yourself. Why should others tell you the truth? Ivy said bluntly. Who said it? None of you said it. Ali looked at everyone and tore off the crab's leg as if she was venting. She then looked at Baya. You haven't said whether you'll treat us next time. It's better to talk about next time, Baya said ambiguously. She raised her glass, signaled to her, and took another sip. When half of the king crab was finished, there was a pile of shells on the table. The waiter came to collect them first. Ali still has half, still eating. The waiter served akami and roasted oysters. They were all full. Rui was curious. This isn't just oyster, right? What is it? Try it. If you like it, you can order more, Baya suggested. Rui took one over and ate a little. It's super delicious. How did you make it? It's wrapped with a sweet, soft, and sticky layer. The texture is really good. I don't know how to describe it. I've never eaten something like this before. Everyone else took one. Listening to them, Ali eagerly took one and sucked the juice out of it. What a refreshing feeling. I heard a long time ago that people from country A are very particular about food. Many countries have too many oysters and they specially invite people from country A to eat them. It's really, really delicious, Rui exclaimed. I often watch a show that talks about the delicacies in country A. Just looking at it makes me hungry. I've always wanted to go to country A, Ivy said happily. There's indeed a lot of food in country A, but there are some that you guys don't want to eat, Baya said with a smile. What are they? Howard was curious. For example, newborn mice, Baya said. I've eaten mice before in the training camp. Raw. They really didn't taste good, Howard said with a frown. And worms fried and pickled, Baya continued. Ali covered her mouth. Stop talking. I'm going to vomit. Ali ate too much and her stomach started to feel uncomfortable. She ran to the washroom to vomit. Chapter 754. There's also the conch later. It's also very delicious. It's a processed conch cut into slices, Baya introduced. Did you get any other good clues from the child this time? Rui was still thinking about the case. Uncle Jack is the murderer according to my preliminary judgment. When we catch him, I think everything will come to light, Baya said. If this case is solved, you'll get the most credit and we'll get nothing, Rui said dejectedly. You can't say that. There's an element of luck. When we went to ask this time, we happened to get some useful information. Sometimes we can't get it, so we still have to rely on teamwork. It's not like we're only working on this case, Baya comforted him. You're a very open-minded person, Rui said, raising his glass. Let's work hard together. Baya also sipped her wine. It was already 9:30 when they left Barbara's seafood restaurant. Baya drank some wine and didn't drive. Instead, she walked to the side of the road. A few hooligans passed by and whistled at Baya. Baya didn't like those people. She didn't pretend that she didn't see them and quickly got into the taxi. The driver didn't ask where Baya was going. He just drove and locked the door. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She looked at the driver defensively. The driver was wearing a mask and a cap. There were hooligans just now. She wanted to get in the car quickly and ignored the danger. She calmly sent out a message and located her location. She put her phone in her pocket and took out the electric baton from her bag without saying a word. The driver looked at Baya in the rearview mirror in surprise. Baya was resting with her eyes closed. "Aren't you afraid?" the driver asked curiously. Baya opened her eyes and looked at the driver. "You should know who I am. If I die, it will definitely cause a sensation. You can't run away. Living in fear is actually worse than dying." "I won't kill you. I want money," the driver said directly. "Do you want to rob or borrow?" Baya asked. The driver abruptly stopped the car by the side of the road and turned to look at Baya. "What do you mean by that?" "When you have money, you can return it to me. You don't have to worry about being chased. You can do whatever you want," Baya said lightly. The man couldn't believe it. "Are you really willing to lend it to me?" Baya smiled. "You're in charge of filing documents, right? You have a family member in the hospital, so you're in a rush for money. You're also very worried. Because of all this, you've made mistakes in your work. You've been fired and you're at your wit's end. I heard from my friend that I'm very rich, so I asked you to pretend to be a chauffeur and wait for me at the door. You did it?" The man was even more shocked. "How did you know?" "The way you dress, your habits, the things you brought with you in the car, and the smell on your body, it's Ellie you're waiting for, right?" I saw her purposely look at the road when she left. She had a meaningful smile on her face as if she was watching a good show, but she didn't walk towards the road, Baya said. The man's psychological defense was immediately broken. "My dad needs an operation and it needs 100,000 USD. I don't have a single cent now." After he said that, he realized that something was wrong. His car was surrounded by the police. He looked around in surprise and fear flashed in his eyes. He looked at Baya in disbelief. "If you say that you want to rob, then you're finished today. Your father is finished too. Luckily, you only want to borrow it. Leave your account number with the police later. Tomorrow at around 8, I'll transfer the money to you, but you'll need to go to the police station to give a statement," Baya said calmly. "Thank you," the man said touched. Baya smiled. Baya got out of the car and said to Shen, "I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you. He did kidnap someone, but it didn't happen, so there's no need to detain him. But there's someone who instigated him. Ask him clearly." "All right." Shin immediately went to do it. Baya called back again. She turned on the air conditioner, played some music, lit some sandalwood incense and went to the bathroom to turn on the water. She had practiced yoga today, so she did a simple cleaning of the house. When the water was ready, she went to take a bath and closed her eyes. The image of her being kidnapped flashed through her mind and she even fell off the car. Baya opened her eyes and she was a little annoyed. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Changhe calling and she immediately answered, "Senior. I saw your speech. It was very good. You're a role model for the world of psychology," Su Changhe praised. "Actually, it's not that. It's the effect of the media's publicity. Senior, some images keep appearing recently. You said that I purposely erased some people, but I'm worried that it won't work. It's normal to have images. The brain has too much information to process and a lot of it is intertwined, so some images will suddenly appear. Don't think about it, just live your current life again and find a handsome guy to marry. I heard that Alan is still waiting for you. Do you have a chance to develop a relationship with him?" Su Changhe gossiped. Baya thought of Alan's gentle face. "He can be matched with someone better, so I don't want to harm him. Recently, there's someone who gives me a strange feeling." "Who?" "His name is Black, the head of security of a research institute. He wears a necklace and I think there's a picture of me in it," Baya said with a smile. She felt a faint warmth in her heart. "Do you know him?" "I don't think so. I saw his side profile, but the person in his necklace might not be me. It's also possible that I saw wrongly. I have some good fate with him. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I have some things to do." "Do you want to develop a relationship with him?" "Not really." Baya subconsciously drew circles on the surface of the pool. "It just feels good. It's safest to keep a certain distance. When you have time, come to America to meet him. To be honest, when you go to America, I want to move there again. The smog here is a little heavy and my baby has rhinitis. My wife and child are the most important now," Su Changhe complained. It'll be best if you come to America. You know that I've been on TV recently, and many people have come to consult me. In addition, my reputation is getting better and better, and my clinic has endless patients. If you come over, I'll give you 50% of the shares. In the future, I'll leave the matter of going on TV to you. Are you serious? Su Changhe said excitedly. Why would I lie to you? When have I ever lied to you? Baya smiled. She had an endless amount of money and she didn't care. I'll settle things here and I'll be back soon. I'll contact you then, Su Changhe said. Okay, I'll contact you then. Baya hung up the phone and lay in the pool. If Su Changhe came over to help her, she wouldn't have to worry about the clinic. She would just have to see one patient every day. Hello everyone, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 755. Baya got up at 6 o'clock every day and started her morning routine, making breakfast, cleaning, watering the plants and eating breakfast. She didn't eat the groceries she bought yesterday, so she didn't have to buy groceries today. She bought some flowers and arranged them simply when her phone rang. It was Shen and she picked it up. Baya, we found out that it was AI Li who instigated it. What do you want to do now? Shen asked. Baya's lips curled up. The chief wanted to use AI Li, but he didn't want to offend her, so he threw the problem to her. I feel that AI Li's character isn't good, but she's very vengeful. If I offend her, it'll be troublesome. I'll treat this as her weakness and not close the case. It'll be a deterrent to her, and I don't like to be ruthless. Alright, I know what to do. Are you coming to the police station in the morning? I got some cases from other places that were done by the same person. There might be new clues, Shin reported. I won't be coming today. I have a patient in the morning and I have to go to the research institute in the afternoon. Let's talk about it after we catch Uncle Jack. Alright, I'll contact you then. Shin hung up. Baya arranged the flowers and placed the roots in absorbent paper to ensure that they wouldn't wither within 2 days. Then she fixed them with a colorful plastic paper. She placed the flowers in her car and started driving. She turned on the music and drove for about an hour before she reached a quiet villa. She pressed the doorbell. The door opened and a woman in her 50s stood at the door with a worried expression. Mr. Zhang, are you still not sleeping well? Baya asked gently. The woman lowered her head and said guiltily, It's all my fault. I shouldn't have let him enter the entertainment industry. If he didn't, things wouldn't have turned out this way. What's done can't be changed. You have to take care of yourself so that you can take better care of him. Baya consoled her and passed the flowers to the woman. This is for you. The woman looked at Baya in surprise when she saw the flowers. Baya smiled. I inserted it myself. I hope you like it. The woman nodded. I like it. I like it very much. It's even better than mine. No, I just learned a little bit from you. I'm going to see him now, Baya said lightly and elegantly. Okay, he locked himself in the recording studio for 2 days, the woman said sadly. Then I'll go see him. Baya went upstairs, walked to the room on the 3rd floor and knocked on the door. I want to be alone. A man's voice came from inside. What if I say my name is Jing Jing? Baya joked. After a while the door opened. Baya looked at the handsome man in front of her. Perhaps it was because he had locked himself in the room for 2 days, his beard had grown out. His skin was snow white and there were dark circles under his eyes. His eyes were red and he looked very dispirited. He looked at her with a gaze that was filled with despair and pleading for help. Can I go to your room? Baya asked. His working environment wasn't convenient for his treatment. Zhang Luiyuan nodded and said hoarsely, Okay. Baya went to his room and glanced around. Perhaps it was because his mother was in a bad mood, she didn't clean the room properly. It was gray and there wasn't a single thing that was bright. Take a seat first. Wait for me. Baya said. He went downstairs. Zhang Luiyuan's mother was cooking. Auntie, can you help me buy some flowers and potted plants? I want to decorate Mr. Zhang's room. If possible, buy a cat, Baya said gently. I'll go right away. Zhang Luiyuan's mother immediately took off her apron, turned off the gas and went out. Baya returned to Zhang Luiyuan's room. He leaned against the sofa and closed his eyes in pain. His brows were tightly furrowed. How many hours have you slept this week? Baya sat opposite him. Not more than 10 hours. My head hurts, my eyes hurt, my heart hurts and my body feels weak. But I just can't sleep, Zhang Luiyuan said weakly. Are you worried about your new album? Baya asked. I'm worried that the sales won't be good. Recently, the market has been greatly affected by internet celebrities. There are all kinds of talent shows and newcomers every year. If I don't release songs, I'll soon be eliminated from the market. The popularity of the fans will pass and I'll become a passerby, Zhang Luoyue said in pain. You still look at Weibo every day? Baya asked. Yes, I don't dare to post anything. The day before yesterday I posted something about food. There were only a few dozen comments and no one reposted it. It's even worse than an unknown internet celebrity, Zhang Luoyue said dispiritedly. That's normal. You basically don't update your Weibo. But I have more than 10 million people above me. Are they all zombies? They don't follow me anymore. What's the use of them? Zhang Luoyue said in frustration. Baya basically understood the reason for his mental breakdown. There will always be talented people in every generation. The new generation will replace the old. This is the natural law of development. But it doesn't matter. Many artists who have been around for more than 10 years can make a comeback with one show or one song. What you need to do is to rest well. That way you'll have the energy to compose a good song. I'm afraid it won't be good. When that time comes, I won't be able to take it, Zhang Luoyue said as he massaged his temples. I have an idea. After you compose a song, I'll get an experienced musician to listen to it for you. If they think it's good, you can post it. Then you won't have to worry about it being bad, Baya suggested. Music can easily be plagiarized, Zhang Luoyue said worriedly. Baya smiled. That's even easier. You can get a few people to listen to it. If a big shot plagiarizes your song, it means that you're good. Moreover, if you sue them, you'll gain exposure and popularity. You'll return to the peak of your popularity. When Zhang Luoyue heard that, he was suddenly enlightened. His eyes lit up. What you said makes sense. I know what I should do now. Do you know when the brain is the most active? Baya asked. Zhang Luoyue didn't understand and shook his head. It's when you're sleeping and dreaming. I remember there was a science teacher called Kekyul. He encountered a difficult problem. He couldn't write down the structure of benzene no matter what. When he was dreaming, he dreamt of carbon atoms that were constantly spinning. The long chains of carbon atoms were like snakes that were coiling around and grabbing onto his tail. That was when he suddenly came to a realization. So sleep more. It'll help your composing. I know. I'll go to sleep now, Zhang Luoyue said with a smile. Baya took out a bottle from his bag and passed it to Zhang Luoyue. If you can sleep, then go to sleep. If you really can't sleep, just take one at 20. I don't want you to be too reliant on drugs. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Tidy yourself up first. It'll be easier for you to sleep when you're full. I want to set up your place. Let's do it for an hour, Baya said. Hello everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. Everyone can follow me on WeChat. Love Story Bookstore. Listen to radio dramas adapted from novels. Chapter 756. Zhang Luoyue's mother came back. Baya went upstairs to decorate the room while Zhang Luoyue's mother prepared food for her. She spent half an hour decorating the room and went downstairs. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Please wait for a while, I'll be done with dinner. Stay for dinner before you leave, Zhang Luoyue's mother said happily when she saw Zhang Luoyue eating. There's no need for dinner. I have something important to do in the afternoon. Mr. Zhang, have a good sleep after dinner. I'll see you next week, Baya said with a smile. See you next week, Zhang Luoyue said politely. Baya nodded and left. She drove to a cafe near the research institute and ordered a steak set meal, a latte and a piece of chocolate cake. She had seen a study before. Sweetness could make people happy, beautiful music could relax people, and a meal could make them feel empty. She cut the steak elegantly, enjoying the delicacy. Then she looked at the door. A man in a suit took a few steps forward. He was quite tall, and from her point of view he was very handsome. He had an air of superiority about him, and his eyes were deep and profound. He looked at her and she found him a little familiar. Black, Baya said. Black walked towards her expressionlessly and nodded. Baya. Baya heard him say her name accurately. It should be Black. What a coincidence to see you here. Are you here for dinner too? He didn't say much. If you don't mind, let's eat together. After dinner, you can bring me to the research institute, Baya said with a smile. Sorry to bother you. Black sat down opposite Baya. Baya raised her hand. Waiter. The waiter immediately passed the menu to Black. Black ordered the set meal and passed the menu back to the waiter. Your name is very special. It's called Black. Does it have a special meaning? Baya asked curiously. He looked at her. His eyes were as deep as the universe. She could see his knowledge, temperament, and inner qualities. He had received higher education since he was young, had been successful, and had also been injured. Other than that, she couldn't tell what he was thinking. My world, I think it's just like the name, full of darkness, Black said sadly. Everything will be fine. Think about it from another perspective. Perhaps it's a sunny sky, Baya comforted him with a smile. Blackie lowered his eyes and didn't say anything else. He was a man of few words. Baya looked at the necklace on his neck. There's something that might be very abrupt, but if I don't ask, I think I won't be able to sleep well for a long time. Who is the person in the photo on your necklace? Wife, he said in a deep voice. Baya paused. There was a strange feeling in her heart as she looked at Black's handsome face. If she was his wife, his attitude didn't seem like it. It was too calm. Does your wife look like me? Baya asked. Black looked at Baya seriously. You're completely different from her. Oh. Baya felt a little awkward. She might have misjudged him at that time. She smiled and said, Where is she now? She went to Bai's world, Black said in a deep voice. Baya didn't like the way he was feeling now. It seemed very gloomy and also like he had given up on himself. Many of her patients were like him, but she still wanted to get along with positive people because her emotions could be easily affected. I'm sorry. After saying that, Baya didn't want to say anything else. She took a sip of coffee and continued to cut the steak. Black's gaze lingered on her face, as if he was afraid that he would lose another second if he looked at her. No one noticed that he was clenching his fists tightly under the table. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Alan. She smiled and picked up the call. Hello, Alan. Why are you calling me at this time? Baya asked happily. I miss you, so I called you, Alan said with a smile. Being thought of by you, I think I can have a good night's sleep tonight. Then I must call you every day to tell you how much I miss you. I want you to sleep well every day. Sure, Baya said with a smile. Alan smiled too. I'm coming to America tomorrow. Are you free to meet me tomorrow? Of course. I'll pick you up when you arrive tomorrow. You can stay at my house for free, Baya said with a smile. Alan was in a good mood. Then I'll take care of all your expenses including the bag. Then I'll buy a bag like crazy. It can cure anything, Baya said jokingly. Let's make a deal. If you don't buy it, I'll buy it and leave it at your house. All right. You're as rich as a country. I don't feel bad for you at all if I use your money. Black's expression was so bad that it was as if dark clouds were floating in the sky and a storm was about to start. He clenched his fists so tightly that his nails were almost digging into his flesh. Fortunately, his nails were very short. Baya ended the call with Alan. She hung up and put her phone in her bag. Boyfriend? Black asked sarcastically. Better than boyfriend. Soulmate? That's more appropriate, Baya explained. Black's expression became even worse. He turned around and left. Baya looked at his cold back and guessed that he was used to giving orders. He was very arrogant and impolite. However, it did not affect her happy mood. She continued to eat her steak. Soon the waiter served his food. There were chicken wings. She wanted to eat them, so she put one in. After she finished the wing, she awkwardly realized that Black had returned. He sat opposite her and did not speak. I'm sorry. I thought you left and ate one of your wings. You can eat something else first. I'll make it up to you, Baya said and waved at the waiter. The waiter walked over. I'll have another chicken wing, Baya said with a smile. Yes, madam, please wait, the waiter said and went to place the order. Baya was calm as if nothing had happened. She continued to eat her steak. I heard that you can hypnotize people's memories so that they can forget what they want to forget, Black said as he looked at her. Baya nodded. Theoretically, yes. However, many people don't want to forget that the pain they feel now is equivalent to the joy they had in the past. Once hypnotized, their memories will be blank. Chapter 757. Baya was cutting the steak. She did not notice his strange expression and explained enthusiastically, one is someone who can't take care of themselves and has lost their ability to think. Their family makes the decision for them. The other is someone who has decided to let go and start a new life. Although hypnosis can block the subconscious, it depends on the patient's own effort to succeed. They have to work together. Sadness flashed in Black's eyes. He lowered his gaze and continued cutting the steak. Baya felt that he had something on his mind. However, he did not look like someone who liked to talk, so she did not ask. She had heard too much about other people's worries and troubles. She continued cutting the steak. Neither of them spoke until Baya was done eating. She had a huge appetite. When she went to see the doctor before, the doctor said that she was very weak. Her sugar content was low, and her blood pressure was low. She had already forgotten a lot of things in the past. She was probably unhappy, which was why she tortured her body to the point that it was unrecognizable. Su Changhe showed her a video. It was a video of herself before she was hypnotized. She was very haggard before she was hypnotized. Her eyes were filled with unhappiness, decadence, despair, and she had seen through life and death. She told herself not to think about the past. She forget it. She had to start a new life. She had to smile at the falling leaves in the courtyard, the rolling clouds, and appreciate the beauty of a world. She vaguely knew in her heart that recalling the past meant pain. Humans had the instinct to avoid pain and pursue pleasure. She did too. Black, do you think we should go to the research center? Baya asked kindly. Why do you want to go to the research center? They study the structure of the brain. Blaise frowned at her. To be honest, I've hypnotized myself before to forget the unhappy memories. However, hypnosis only affects the subconscious. Once the subconscious relaxes, some memories will pop up. I want to know if there's a way to completely forget the things I don't want to remember, Baya said sincerely. Black's eyes reddened. If that's your goal, there's no need to go. I don't have such a skill. I'll inform you when the time comes. Baya did not expect to be rejected directly. But I still want to go. Sorry for the trouble. Let's go then. Black put $200 on the table. Baya glanced at the table and let him pay. After all, the seafood meal last time cost her thousands of dollars. You ate early, Baya said. I have no appetite, Black said coldly. Baya felt awkward again. It was better for her to shut up. She did not like men of few words. They were not easy to get along with. Black got into his car and so did Baya. They followed him to the entrance of the research center. Black got out of the car and walked towards the door. He gestured for them to let him go. Baya followed him to the security department of the research center. He gave her a protective gown, gloves, and a mask. She followed behind him and looked at the people who were doing research. They used chimpanzees for experiments, and there were also people who died as donors. Unknowingly, she walked to the director's office. Black knocked on the door and said to Baya, "This is the director's office. You can ask him if you want to know anything." After saying that, Black turned and left. He turned around and left, cold and unfeeling. He was contacting her for work. Baya did not want to interact with this person too much. She pushed the door open and entered. "Hello, I'm Baya," Baya introduced. The director stood up politely. "I know. I was notified. I saw your speech last time. It was quite good. I also want to find a chance to meet you. My specialty is far from yours. My specialty is far from yours. I only know a little about the brain. I'm curious about something. Take depression for example. When a person is depressed, they will lose interest in the things they used to be interested in. They don't want to do the things they used to do, and they might even vomit. Is that why?" Baya asked a professional question as soon as she arrived. This is also the field we are exploring. Before depression, patients will often suffer from insomnia, pessimism, and disappointment. They will feel that their days will not be good. Our suggestion is to let the patient sleep and give them some stimulants so that they won't be so pessimistic. However, no medicine can solve the problem. What's really useful is to adjust the mental state. Speaking of the mental state, it's really a magical thing. I had a patient who was only 10 years old before. She suffered from dissociative pain, a mental disorder. It was real pain. She would feel a headache one day, a heartache the next, and the pain in her legs the day after tomorrow. She would feel pain wherever she thought of it. In fact, it was because of the pressure her parents put on her to study, which made her afraid of going to school and taking exams. These pains were real, but what was the cause? Baya fired the second bullet. The director smiled awkwardly. Indeed, stress can cause a lot of negative emotions in people. We've done experiments before. Depression, sadness can cause the body to produce toxins that destroy and harm the nerves. On the other hand, joy and excitement can produce good substances. Can these chemicals be developed in the near future? No. These substances are very subtle and we don't know how to extract them. However, I believe that science is so advanced. It should be possible in the future, the director said passionately. There's one more thing. I have done a study before. Using primary school students as an example, those who want to learn will focus their minds on reading. Those who don't want to learn will not want to listen to the teacher. This is also determined by the mind. Focus, focus. Is there a type of medicine that can help children focus their minds? Baya continued to ask. The mind is actually similar to the drive of the brain. The brain controls the activities of the other parts of the body. The heart is the power source and the other parts are used to generate electricity. The entire center of activity is the brain. Through the external environment and the stimulation of words, the state of the mind can be changed. Therefore, the brain is really a very mysterious existence. There is too much knowledge in it that we need to explore, the director said in an official manner. Baya was a little disappointed. I have an idea. I want to ask, can you guys extract a part of a person's memory now? We can't do that. But in the near future we can increase the memory. However, there will be many side effects. Increase the memory? What do you mean? Chapter 758. Baya understood. Thank you, director, for your explanation. I've learned a lot from you. Ah, you're flattering me. The director felt guilty. He could not answer most of Baya's questions. Then can I walk around? Baya asked. Yes, but don't go anywhere other than the chairman's office. Our chairman doesn't like to be exposed and he doesn't want anyone to know who he is. If you accidentally find out, you might not be able to leave this place, the director said half-jokingly. All right, I'll keep that in mind, Baya said and left the director's office. She looked around casually, watching as those people studied. In fact, she did not understand anything and the more she looked, the sadder she felt. She decided to leave. She walked towards the main door and saw Black at the door. He walked towards her. I heard that Dr. Bai doesn't really see patients? Baya was slightly stunned. She explained, I do see patients but I don't see much. There are more things to do. Can I cut in the queue? I've signed up but you told me that you have to queue, Black said in a low voice. Well, Baya was put in a difficult position. Actually, other doctors see me the same way. My legends are all exaggerated by the media. So you don't agree? Black's eyes darkened. They were cold. Only by knowing how to reject would there be no worries. I'm sorry, I really don't see patients anymore. There are too many people. To be honest, after I went on TV, our clinic's phone has been blowing up, Baya said with a smile. Black Baya did not want to be with him anymore. She nodded and walked out of the door. Black stood there stunned for a long time. His eyes were filled with dark emotions. He made a call. Cheong, I want to join the new organization that Baya is in. Please make the arrangements. Baya came out of the research center. It was still early. She wanted to reward herself that night, so she took out all the chicken wings and started researching. She cut the vegetables into small pieces and skewered them on a wooden stick to make soup for skewers. It was already 17 p.m. when she was done. Her phone rang. She saw that it was an unknown number, so she hung up. Her phone rang again. It was still the same unknown number. She picked up. Baya, what do you mean? What good is it for you to chase me away? Ali said angrily. Baya could tell it was Ali's voice. I didn't chase you away and I don't have the ability to do so. Joan told me that he found out that I kidnapped you. It's up to you whether he wants to keep me here or not. You're going to kill him, aren't you? Ali said angrily. What I'm saying is that I'll keep you here, but I won't file or dismiss the case of kidnapping me. It's a warning to you. You can ask Joan about it. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Yeah, he is, Cheong said. Yeah, he, Cheong. He, you, him. Baya sighed helplessly. In this world there are too many traps and undeserved disasters. The facial mask you use may rot your face, the cucumber you eat may be poisonous, the road you walk on may collapse, and getting to know someone inexplicably is provoking the Grim Reaper. Baya knew that Ali had a bad personality. She was like a bug. She would be in trouble if she was pestered. However, there was nothing she could do even if she wanted to pester her. She had to take things as they came. She put the chicken wings in the oven and turned on the TV. She started eating skewers. The TV was still broadcasting the serial murders. Cheong was being chased by reporters for an interview. He was getting impatient and said, "We have the whereabouts of the murderer. He will be caught in a week." Baya frowned and called Ivy. "Did you find the clown?" "I found a few places. I've been following them. One of them is exactly what you said. He lives in a trailer," Ivy said. Baya said anxiously, "If he sees the news, he will leave here tonight and go to another city. He is too cautious. As soon as Cheong says that she has his whereabouts and will arrest him within a week, he will definitely leave. He has also committed 4 crimes in this city, so he can leave with peace of mind. Send me his whereabouts now and I will call Cheong. Okay. Baya called Cheong immediately. The murderer will escape tonight. Ivy has found his whereabouts. He must be caught today. Okay, I'll arrange it right away, Cheong said. He was under a lot of pressure. If he didn't solve the case, the media would annoy him to death, so he took it seriously. After Baya hung up the phone, she lost her appetite for skewers. She called her neighbor next door. And Hattie, are you home? I made a lot of skewers. Yes, come over, Hattie said directly. Baya carried the pot to the villa next door. Hattie was already waiting for her. In the end, it was Baya who brought the pot over. Baya, you're the best. Baya smiled. Hattie was a warm-hearted person. She took good care of her and was straightforward. If she liked something, she liked it. If she didn't like it, she didn't like it. She had eaten the skewers she made for Hattie previously and she liked it very much. Have you eaten? Hattie asked. I've prepared it at home. You guys eat first, Baya said with a smile. Thank you. I'll send the pot to you tomorrow after I wash it. By the way, I have some blueberry jam. I made it myself. Take 2 bottles with you. It's good for your eyes, Hardy said as she took out 2 bottles of blueberry jam from the fridge. Baya didn't stand on ceremony with her. She took the blueberry jam and said, Thank you, Aunt Hattie. She went back. It was strange. She wasn't in a good mood just now. She went out for a walk and met the warm Aunt Hattie. After a few words, she felt hungry again. Humans were really strange. Their minds could change many things. She ate the noodles again. There were still tomatoes in the fridge. She fried the tomatoes and eggs on the noodles. Then she took out the grilled chicken wings and ate happily. She cleaned up the house, did yoga, washed her clothes and took a shower. When she came out of the bathroom, she heard a bang. Someone threw a brick at the window. Baya guessed that it was a prank by AI Lee. It was normal. Their salary was very high this time. AI Lee was short of money and without this high-paying job, she would definitely be upset. It was very reasonable for her to do something to take revenge. She didn't care. She had specially installed the glass here. Even bullets couldn't break it, not to mention a stone. Her house looked very warm. In fact, the security was very good. After all, she lived as a single woman. She went to her room and heard another bang. She sighed helplessly. She opened the curtains and looked downstairs. AI Lee was fighting with a man. She didn't know the man, but it was obvious that he was helping her. Moreover, his hands were very good. He was above AI Lee. Chapter 759. Who was that man? Was he just passing by? Baya had her suspicions, but no matter what, she could have a good night's sleep. She had to be careful the next day. She guessed that she might catch the clown that night and Joan would call her the moment they caught him. She might be sleeping. She didn't want to be disturbed, or she would have a splitting headache when she woke up. She switched off her phone and went to sleep. When she woke up, it was 6:15 in the morning again. She went to brush her teeth, wash up, make breakfast and water the plants before turning on her phone. Her phone was filled with calls from Joan, her team members, Ellie and 2 strangers. She called Joan. Joan hurriedly answered the call. Baya, we caught the clown. Just like you said, his car was full of toys, roses and even cameras. Is this person Uncle Jack? He didn't say a word when we asked him, Joan said anxiously. Did you find the computer in his car? Get Ivy to decrypt his movie, and we should be able to see a lot of videos of the victims' families. He doesn't have to say anything and we have solid evidence, Baya suggested. He realized that he was being chased by the police, so he guessed that he might have been discovered. He's really a cautious person, so he burned the computer and destroyed the evidence. We saved the toys and flowers, Joan explained. Okay, I got it. I'll arrange the patients this morning. I'll come after breakfast, Baya said and hung up. While she was eating, she turned on the TV. The news was about the clown who burned his car with the clown. She scanned the screen and saw a picture. She called Joan. Joan, there's a picture in the clown's car. Did you take it? Are you talking about the clown's picture? Joan asked. Find out what happened to him when he was young, and tell me the details when I come, Baya said. She hung up and continued eating. After breakfast, she didn't go grocery shopping. She wanted to solve the problem in the morning, then go grocery shopping and have a good meal. When she arrived at the police station, the other team members were there too, except for Ellie. You guys are early, Baya said. To be exact, we came last night and haven't gone back yet, Rue said with a yawn. Thank you all for your hard work. Let's go back and rest. Now that we've caught him, he won't be able to escape anytime soon, advised Baya. Rue yawned again. I want to learn psychology from you, so I'll leave after you finish the interrogation. Joan said that she'll find another person to join us. I guess that person will come later. Okay. Baya nodded. I'll go to the evidence room to get something. I'll accompany you, Rue said. Ivy immediately stood up when she saw Rue accompanying her. I'll go too. Let's go together, Baya said. She went to the evidence room and looked at the evidence they had collected about the clown. She took a very old toy and a photo. Why are you taking these? Rue asked, confused. The old things that he left behind must be the ones that he treasured the most, and the ones that left a deep impression on him, Baya explained. She went to Joan's office first and found out about Uncle Jack's past. She poured a cup of coffee, brought it to the interrogation room and placed it in front of the clown. The clown looked at Baya in surprise, but did not say anything. Baya sat opposite him. Drink it. You must be sleepy and hungry. Tell me, what do you want to eat? I'll bring it for you the next time I come in. Don't think that I'll be grateful just because you treat me like this. I didn't kill him. You've got the wrong person. Please let me go. I still have to work at the next location and give toys to the children, the clown said with wide eyes. There's a camera in the toy. Who are you trying to fool? Ivy said with disdain. Baya did not expose him. Jack, did you know that Neil misses you? He was arranged to go to an orphanage and he was very unhappy. The director of the orphanage was not a good person, and she specialized in organ trafficking. When Neil found out, she often beat Neil up. This was reported on the news, but what was not reported was that Neil really missed you. I don't know who you're talking about. What Neil? I don't even know him, Jack argued. Do you miss your Uncle Jack? Baya asked. Jack was stunned. His eyes were locked. I won't say anything for 24 hours. He's still alive. He was released from prison. Did you know that? Baya said. He was released? Jack was shocked. He lowered his head so that no one could see his expression. He frowned. Why are you telling me this? He said that he was very close to you. When he was young, he liked you the most. So, when he saw you smiling at him, he couldn't bear to kill you. He treated you like his own son. If it's possible, he wants to see you, Baya continued. Why was he released? He killed my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my brother? Jack still couldn't calm down and asked. He was diagnosed with brain cancer and couldn't live more than a month. However, he has been in prison for more than 20 years and has been doing well. He's a special case. I won't forgive him. He made me lose my family. I don't want to see him either, Jack said with his eyes wide open. So, if Neil finds out that you pretended to be his father and killed all his family, he probably won't forgive you, Baya said calmly. I didn't kill anyone, Jack denied immediately. I'm not here to make you admit whether you killed someone or not. You have a habit of recycling dolls, but you don't throw them away. That's why the dolls have the victim's fingerprints and blood on them. Impossible. I wash the dolls I recycle at least 3 times. There won't be any blood or fingerprints left, Jack blurted out. Oh. In the surveillance room outside the interrogation room, everyone was in an uproar. He admitted. Baya has a way. She went in for a while and got the answer. That's amazing, Baya, Ivy said in admiration. No matter how we asked, he wouldn't say anything. After Baya went in, she got the answer so easily. How did she do it? Master Rue felt proud. They were all so excited that they didn't see a tall man enter the surveillance room. He looked at Baya on the screen with deep eyes. His woman seemed to be getting better without him. How could he make her have him in her heart again? Chapter 760. Jack realized that he had said the wrong thing and explained in a panic. I mean my dolls are all recycled from other people's houses. In order to make sure that they are all clean for the children, I wash them all so there's nothing that's dirty. Baya didn't say anything and just looked at him. Jack's eyes flashed and he looked at Baya in panic. Baya looked at him confidently. Jack, tell me, how did your Uncle Jack kill your family? He's a pervert. He locked me in the car, went in and used a knife to kill my mother, brother, grandpa and grandma. Blood, it's all blood. Jack was in a trance. He was terrified, horrified and in pain. Baya placed the toy on the table. He gave this to you, right? Jack knocked the toy on the table to the floor. He's the devil. Yes, he's the devil. He even taught you how to kill. It's all his fault, he doesn't deserve forgiveness, Baya said. Yes, he was the one who taught me. He told me to use the clown to get close to others, especially to find a husband's family. As long as I control the child, they won't dare to struggle. Jack said everything, not even trying to argue. He told you to pretend to be a dead woman's husband? He used 2 years to become my father, but I just need to use a mask. Not 2 years but 2 hours and I can become their father. It's fast and convenient, Jack said proudly. What about Hess? She loved you, Baya asked. She said she loved me, but she was afraid that I would sleep with another man in secret. She was AB*, so I dismembered her body. Women are all the same, Jack said sinisterly. Jack, let's get back to business. What do you want to eat? I'll bring it for you next time, Baya said simply. Jack looked at Baya and asked confusedly, You're really bringing it for me? I've read your heart before. What would have happened if your Uncle Jack didn't enter your family? Although you don't have a father, you have a loving mother, brother, grandfather, and grandmother. You are very smart, and your dream is to become an astronaut. I think you can succeed. Jack was moved and in pain. He held his coffee cup tightly and lowered his head. His body was shivering. However, fate has arranged for you to become a clown killer. Because of the changes that happened when you were young, you gained a sense of accomplishment and pleasure from killing clowns. However, you still have a bit of kindness. You will never kill the last child. That's not because you want to repeat your history, but because you want these children to have a different future. Right, Jack? Baya asked softly. Jack looked at Baya with reddened eyes. Will I die? Will he be sentenced to death? The world after death, have you ever thought about what it would be like? Baya asked. Jack was silent, dazed. Baya smiled. Jack, you've been lonely for a long time. Since you don't want to tell me what you want to eat, there's nothing I can do. Baya stood up. I want to eat hamburgers, salad, ham and turkey, Jack said looking at Baya. I'll get someone to bring them to you tonight. Sleep in peace. You don't have to be so tense anymore, Baya said and left. Cries could be heard coming from behind the door. Baya, you're amazing. You broke through his psychological defense so quickly, Joan praised. Human nature is the same, Baya said. Let me introduce you to the new team members. Then I have a new case for you. This serial killer case has shocked the United States and the whole world. Your group will soon be famous all over the world, Joan said in a good mood. It's a bit intense to work on a new case so soon. I want to rest today, Baya said. Oh sure. I'm just telling you about the case. It's been unsolved for a long time. No one can solve it. If you solve it, you'll be famous. If you don't, there's nothing to say, Joan said in a friendly tone. Okay. Let's go and meet the new team members, Baya said and walked to the office. The team members rushed to her as soon as she entered. Rue praised, Baya, you're amazing. You'll be our team leader from now on. We admire you. We can discuss it together. Baya looked behind Rue and saw Black. You're the new team member? Baya asked directly. Black nodded. Baya thought about it. Their team and the research center were all funded by the same person. As the director of the research center's security, it was normal for him to be transferred to their team to replace Ellie. Then we'll work hard together, Baya said casually. The director came over and said to Baya, Black, you guys met yesterday. Let me introduce you. Black is your new team member. Joan, we only have one woman in our team. Isn't it a little uncoordinated? Howard asked. Believe it or not, there won't be a single woman in the future, Joan replied. Haha. Howard smiled awkwardly. Black glanced at Baya, his eyes dark. He wanted to say something but Joan stopped him. Shin, tell them about our case. Shin came in with the documents. Joan, can't you let us take a break? We haven't slept since yesterday, Ivy complained. Take a break. We're going to talk about the case today. Since it's unsolved, you can start investigating tomorrow, Joan explained again and gestured for Shin to start. Shin gave the documents to everyone and said, This was discovered by the Marine Exploration Team in the first half of the year. Baya looked at the documents. There were 6 cages in total. Most of them contained skulls, some had clothes and some had teeth. The last 3 corpses in the cages were relatively fresh with some muscle tissue. We did some calculations. There were 20 people in total. Since they were thrown into the sea, we can't determine the cause of death. Judging from the osteoporosis, these cages weren't put in at the same time. Due to the influence of ocean currents, plants and other organisms, many bones are missing. The skulls are bigger so they're still inside, Shin said. The last corpse in the cage still has muscle tissue. Can we extract DNA? Baya asked. Yes, but the database doesn't have these people. Their fingerprints are all gone, so it's hard to find them, Shin explained. What about using the skull to restore the face? Baya asked again. We've done everything. We've added tissues and skin according to the appearance of the skull, and we can roughly restore 60% to 80% of the original appearance. We've posted it on the internet, and in the past half a year, only one person has come forward to look for him and Chapter 761. And what? Roy asked. The person who claimed the family provided a photo. We matched them and the match was only 30%. So no one claimed it, Ivy said. Shin nodded. Yes. Were the cages found in the same place or were they found in different places? Baya asked suspiciously. Basically in the same area. There were several heavy stones in the cages to hold them in place, Shin said. Baya closed the file. I suggest that the exploration team go to that place again. There might be new corpses. We have to be quick. Okay, I'll contact them right away, Joan said and went out to make a call. Baya looked at the others. They had stayed up late last night and were still awake. Everyone go back and get some rest. We'll talk about this case tomorrow. Okay. See you tomorrow, Baya, Rui said. Let's have lunch together. My treat, Black said looking at Baya. Baya's phone rang. Seeing that it was Alan, she smiled and answered. Let me guess. You're either getting on the plane or you've already gotten off. I'm at Seattle International Airport. I'll call you now. Where shall we meet? Alan asked. Baya smiled. I'll send the address to your phone now. See you later. Okay. See you later. Alan hung up. Baya looked at Black. Sorry, my friend is coming. I can't have lunch with you guys. Black's expression darkened. You can ask your friend to come. No need. Baya rejected him directly. She sent her address to Alan and walked out of the office. Black looked at her back and frowned. He seemed to be shrouded in gloom. She went out to buy vegetables. There should be farmers selling vegetables in the market. American markets were actually different from those in a country. For example, most people bought vegetables in supermarkets. However, she knew a very good place where farmers picked fresh vegetables every day. There were no pesticides or hormones. She often bought them. However, there were no live fish, live prawns, or live chickens here. They were generally frozen. If you want to eat fresh, it's better to go to the farm and buy it directly or go fishing yourself. She loved fishing. In the past, when she was free, she would sit by the lake for an afternoon and catch a lot of fish, secretly raising them in the big pond. She hid behind the flowers and plants. Most people wouldn't know and wouldn't report her. She usually fed it twice a week, no more than that. She felt that if she fed the fish too much food, it would lose the original taste of the fish. She would go fishing after she finished eating. As for the pork, a few months ago she went to the farm and asked them to kill a pig. She made various kinds of pork such as salted pork, bacon, sausage, bacon, pork jerky, pork chops, pork meatballs, flour meatballs, and so on. She divided them into small bags and put them in the fridge. Therefore, she usually only needed to buy fresh vegetables, fruits, and seasonings. She quickly bought groceries and went home. She took out pork chops, pork jerky, tenderloin, and small ribs from the freezer and thawed them in the microwave. She washed the fruit, put it on the plate, and washed the vegetables. The doorbell rang. She wiped her hands and walked to the door. She looked through the peephole. It was Alan. She smiled and opened the door. Faster than I thought. Because I brought the everlasting flower this time, not the fresh flowers. Alan handed the everlasting flower behind his back to Baya. Baya smiled and took it. If it's for decoration, the everlasting flower is more suitable. It will never wilt and never wilt. It's best to have some everlasting flowers in the house. She turned around and placed the everlasting flower in the basket on the wall. Very creative. I like it. Alan smiled as he entered the door and glanced at the house. Your place is very good. It's very elegant. Did you design the decorations yourself? Yes, when I bought this place I also felt that it was very elegant. The environment is good, and the decorations were done according to my ideas. Do you want to stay upstairs or downstairs? Baya asked. Do you want to stay upstairs or downstairs? Alan asked. Baya pointed to the sky. Upstairs. The pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. I'll stay upstairs too. Baya smiled happily. Your Chinese is not bad. I guess that you would stay upstairs. Go and take a look. The first room on the left of the staircase. I've placed bamboo in your room. You're allergic to pollen, right? Try not to go to the backyard. I've planted a lot of flowers. Yes, I can't wait to take a look. Alan carried his luggage upstairs. Baya continued to cook in the kitchen. She had just finished chopping the pork chops when Alan came downstairs. This place of yours is really nice and unique. The scenery has been specially decorated by you. I really want to stay here for the rest of my life. Alan sighed. If you come, I'll be more than happy to welcome you. With you around, I won't be that lonely. I'll definitely take good care of you. Don't hesitate and move in. I have a lot of rooms here, Baya said with a smile. Are you telling the truth? If you say it again, I'll take it seriously. Alan looked at him with a deep gaze. Really? Of course, if you have a girlfriend, then it'll be a different story. Baya turned around, opened the oil pan and placed the pork chops inside. There was a knock on the door. I'll go and open the door, Alan said. Baya was worried that it was Ellie's prank that scared Alan. Alan, help me place the pork chops inside. I want to make braised pork chops. I'll go and open the door. Baya came to the door and looked through the peephole. It was actually black. She opened the door in surprise. Why are you here? After that, Shin sent some information. Since you've already left, I'm here to deliver it to you, Black said. Oh, thank you. Baya took the information from him. He still stood there and did not leave. Baya thought for a while and said politely, since you're here, do you want to have a meal together? But I'm still cooking. It's not done yet. I have some details about the case that I want to discuss with you, Black said in a businesslike manner. Oh, then you'll have to wait for a while. I'm cooking. Don't worry. Black entered the room and looked at the layout and decorations of her room. It was elegant and quiet. Only the everlasting flowers on the wall did not seem to match the color of the room, making it stand out. Xiaoya, are you going to put in the cooking wine? Alan came out of the kitchen and was slightly surprised to see Black. Black nodded at Alan. Take a seat first, Baya said to Black and walked into the kitchen. Chapter 762. I won't give up on her. Alan, just give up, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Alan scoffed. She told me that she loved you and didn't want me to get hurt. She told me not to hold out any more hope for her. Now that you're together, I want to see her happy, so I let go and returned to being a good friend. Now she doesn't love you anymore. She's afraid that she'll soften her heart, so she even hypnotized herself. I don't think you're competitive with me now. I don't care about her past, I only care if she's willing to be with me. I had no choice but to leave. But you forgot the sincerity and support between a husband and wife. You abandoned her to do what you thought was what she wanted, but it wasn't what she wanted. Whether I quit or not doesn't depend on you, it depends on her. I can give her comfort and peace of mind. It's not explosive, but it'll last forever. Gu Lingqing frowned. Your asthma is very serious. How are you going to give her forever? I'll be careful as long as she's around. I won't let anything happen to me. Let's compete fairly. If she falls in love with you again, I have nothing to say. If not, I want to give her a happy life. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened as he looked at Baya in the kitchen. His eyes darkened further. Baya was busy in the kitchen and did not notice the commotion outside. She came out of the kitchen with a bucket and said to Gu Lingqing, Black, my friend has asthma. I need you to help me catch 2 crucian carps from the pond in the backyard. I'll cook fish for you for lunch. Sure. Gu Lingqing took the bucket from Baya's hand and went to the backyard to catch 2 crucian carps. She watched as Alan chatted happily with Baya in the kitchen. The weather here is actually oceanic. It rains from time to time. It'll be fine once you get used to it. Just carry an umbrella in your bag at all times. If the weather is good this Sunday, let's go fishing together. Go fishing on the sea? This is my first time, Alan thought. The fish here are easier to catch. Let me tell you, they call black carp, grass carp, bighead carp, carp, silver carp, salmon and so on Asian carp. Because they have no natural enemies here, they multiply very quickly. There are many of them in many lakes. You have to greet them. They can open them to us for free, but you have to let them know. Otherwise, it will be troublesome to go fishing for wild fish, said Baya. Is Asian carp a marine fish? Alan was a little confused. It's freshwater fish. I've confused the topic. Saltwater fish are easy to catch. If you catch them, you can directly make them into sashimi, grilled or fried. I'm going there now, said Baya with a smile. Alan also laughed. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. Do you have time in the afternoon? Why don't we go this afternoon? I happen to have a cruise ship that can send you there, Gu Lingqing interrupted. Sure. There's no time like the present. Let's go when we get down, said Baya happily. She quite liked fishing. Alan twitched the corner of his mouth. Do you need my help? No need. I also like to cook. So don't fight with me. Baya took out the fish from the bucket and cleaned it neatly. Alan and Gu Lingqing looked at each other and came out from the kitchen. Alan said with a smile, It's okay. I live here. Gu Lingqing's face darkened. He flipped open the information he brought and said meaningfully, It should be temporary. He looked at the content of the information seriously and flipped through it a few times. This is a bit like a burial at sea, Alan suddenly said. Burial at sea? The burial at sea here is to scatter the ashes into the sea, not to sink the person directly into the sea, said Gu Lingqing. Don't you think it's strange? Alan looked at the picture. Under normal circumstances this cage is sealed and there's no lock. But how did the person get in? Asked Alan. An idea flashed in Gu Lingqing's mind. He looked at the 6 iron cages seriously. It was true. There were no locks. The 4 sides were sealed. There are 3 people in each cage. If these people were put in dead and then sealed, there's no struggle. If they were put in alive, it means that it's an absolute suppression. There are many murderers, said Gu Lingqing. Alan shrugged. You're a general and a leader. Why are you involved in these small cases? Your country is in turmoil now. The president is your brother, right? I heard that he's going to marry a woman from the Xiang family of M country at the end of this year. This is not something you should care about. Gu Lingqing didn't want to talk to him anymore. Alan held his head and looked at Gu Lingqing. If it wasn't for Baya, I wouldn't care about the affairs of your country. Why did you leave so suddenly? Why did you become a small police officer? Gu Lingqing closed the file and glanced at Alan. I told you, this is not something you should care about. You're cool and cold, but women don't like you, judged Alan. Gu Lingqing stood up and walked towards the door. He smoked a cigarette and was very annoyed. A middle-aged woman walked towards him with a pot in her hand. Hello, are you Baya's boyfriend? Asked the middle-aged woman. Yes. I'm a colleague, explained Gu Lingqing. Oh, this is Baya's pot. She cooks really well. Whoever marries her will be convinced. Please pass it to her for me and thank her for me, said the middle-aged woman. Gu Lingqing took the pot from the middle-aged woman. He turned around and went to the kitchen. Baya was still busy, but she was cooking in an orderly manner, exactly as he remembered. She would taste the taste first before serving it to prevent it from being too salty or bland. She was a very serious and responsible person. Baya noticed that Gu Lingqing was standing behind her. She turned around and looked at him. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing looked at the pot in his hand uncomfortably and passed it to Baya. An auntie sent this back for you. She asked me to tell you that your cooking is really good. Thank you. Heh, Baya smiled happily. Luckily I'm at home now, or else she would have made a wasted trip. Wait for me for another 20 minutes. I'll cook the fish very quickly and you'll be able to eat soon. I'll bring the dishes out first. It's summer anyway and we can't be cold, said Gu Lingqing. Yes, thank you. Black, the dishes on the chopping board can be brought out now, said Baya as she continued with her work. Gu Lingqing carried the dishes out. Alan saw this and immediately went to the kitchen to help. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Jones. She had a bad feeling and picked up the phone. Chapter 763. Yeah. Baya was quite calm. You found them quickly. The Marine Survey team happened to be nearby. Now that we can recognize the faces, we should be able to find out who died. I'm very confident about this case. It shouldn't be too difficult, Jones said happily. Baya smiled. We'll see. Cheong's heart sank. You don't think so? Have you ever wondered why no one reported this to the police? Baya asked. Cheong was stunned. What? Let's confirm the victims' identities first. I'm going to eat now. Good luck. Baya hung up. She prepared the fish fillets, boiled the oil, stir-fried the pickled cabbage, put in the bones, stir-fried them, and added water. When the water boiled, she put in the fish fillets. In just 5 minutes, a bowl of fish with pickled cabbage was ready to be served. She turned off the fire. Gu Lingqing came in and said in a low voice, Be careful, it's hot. Let me do it. You go outside and wait for your meal. Baya was a little dazed. This scene seemed to have happened before. In her memory there was a man who said this to her. The man holding the hot food while she held the bowl and chopsticks. It was a warm and comfortable scene. but she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. She couldn't think about it anymore. It wasn't a good sign. Then I'll have to trouble you. She didn't stand on ceremony. She took 3 bowls and 3 pairs of chopsticks. Alan smiled. Luckily, I learned how to use chopsticks. Otherwise, I'd have to use my hands. Tell me what you like to eat tomorrow. I'll go to the market and buy it for you, Baya said. Let's go together tomorrow. When you go to work, I'll see if there are any investment projects and find something to do. Good idea. I'll bring the food out, Baya said. She went to the kitchen and scooped a big bowl of rice. She could eat as much as she wanted. Alan took a bite of the pork chop. I've eaten so many pork chops, but yours is the best. Baya smiled. If everything goes well today, you'll be able to eat the fish I fry. It's even better. Gu Lingqing glanced at Alan. He didn't say anything and sat opposite Alan. Did you receive the candy I sent you last time? Alan asked Baya, looking like he was talking about everything. Yes, I got it. It's a very special taste. It's salty and light, which suits my taste very well. People nowadays eat too much sweet stuff, which is not good for their health. When you're hungry or when your mouth has no taste, it's good to eat some salty candy. I came to the US to start a food business or open a coffee shop. As long as I have something to do, I will do it. My other businesses are already on the right track, and there are professionals to help me manage them. Alan thought. Alan. Besides, I have. Yeah. Alan, yeah. Besides, I have. Besides, Ilan. Did you make any money? Alan asked curiously. It's all right. I've been running it for 3 months. So far, I haven't suffered any losses, but I haven't made much money either. However, there are quite a lot of returning customers. Maybe after a year, when there are more returning customers, I can make some money and spend it elsewhere, said Baya jokingly. Then I'll just open a coffee shop and give you a lifetime supply. Baya nodded. Sounds good. Gu Lingqing kept his head down as he ate. He listened to their conversation without saying a word. Baya noticed that she had neglected another guest. She smiled and asked, Black, you've been transferred over to the investigation team. Are you still working at the research center? I'm in charge of the research center. You just have to do your job well. You don't have to go there every day. The investigation team has free time too, Black said. When I went to the research center last time, I saw the chairman's office there. The dean specifically told me not to go there. Have you seen the chairman before? Baya asked. Yeah, replied Gu Lingqing. He didn't say anything else. He was an introverted and reserved man with a lot of things on his mind. Baya smiled. Do you have a good relationship with the chairman? Yeah. Gu Lingqing replied again. He didn't dare to look at Baya. He was afraid that Baya would notice something. He lowered his eyes and looked calm. Baya didn't ask any more. She once said that there was a type of person that was hard to see through and hard to figure out. You might think that you could see him clearly, but in the blink of an eye, he didn't seem to be what you thought he was. He was too deep and unfathomable. She might as well not try to figure him out. She also wouldn't get too close to this type of person because she couldn't see him clearly. It was too dangerous. She ate. No one spoke. The atmosphere suddenly became heavy. How was the song I asked you to listen to last time? Alan broke the silence and asked. Yeah, I think it's quite high-end. High-end? Yeah, it feels like I'm listening to a symphony in a royal palace. I like to listen to that kind of elegant, ethereal but also very calming sound of nature, Baya expressed correctly. Then I'll make it up again next time. You can listen to it again, said Alan humbly. Yeah, don't forget to apply for a patent. It'll be specially placed in your cafe in the future. Sounds like a good choice. Mr. Gu, do you like music? Asked Alan. Mr. Gu? Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. Gu Lingqing looked at her confused eyes. His eyes became even more unfathomable. There were too many hidden thoughts that gathered into an unknown universe. She had really forgotten about him. My surname is Gu, but you can just call me Black, Gu Lingqing said dejectedly. If you like to sing, the sound system here is not bad. You're welcome to sing together, said Baya with a smile. I can see that the decoration here is superb. If there's a chance, invite Black to come and sing together, said Alan while looking at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He lowered his head and ate his food. Soon he finished one bowl and filled another bowl. Baya glanced at him. Black didn't like to talk. Silence was golden. Black, you used to be a soldier, right? Baya asked casually. Yeah, answered Gu Lingqing. You seem to be from the special forces, but you don't have the feeling of the American Special Forces. Are you from country A? Baya guessed. Gu Lingqing didn't answer. Baya felt that she was asking for a snub, so she didn't ask Black anymore. They were just colleagues in the future anyway. If they couldn't get along well, they could just leave. After a while, they finished their meal. You guys rest for a while. We'll leave after we tidy up, said Baya. Let me do the dishes, Black volunteered. She didn't expect Black, who was like a tough guy, to do the dishes. She felt an inexplicable warmth in her heart. You can't judge a book by its cover, and you can't measure the sea with a pail. A man of steel can also be very gentle. Chapter 764. Sorry to trouble you. Baya did not refuse. Do I have to throw away the unfinished food? Gu Lingqing asked. No need. I'll pack it up now. Some people will need it, Baya said and started packing. Gu Lingqing washed the dishes. She saw that his actions were quite skilled. She did not deliberately say anything and smiled. I'm going out for a while. I'll accompany you, Alan said and took the lunchbox from Baya's hands. Looks like you often give food to people who need it. You even have a lunchbox and disposable chopsticks ready. What I don't need is what others urgently need. That's the simplest thing I can do. It's just a small effort. Don't not do good because it's small, don't do evil because it's small. Giving makes people feel calm and comfortable, Baya explained. Alan looked at Baya. Her tone was elegant, intellectual, natural and unrestrained. It was as gentle as water and understanding. He was not willing to compromise. He would rather have nothing than have something substandard. Once he met Baya, it would ruin his life. If they could not love each other for a long time, he thought that he would never like anyone else in this life. When Baya arrived at the park, a group of homeless people naturally swarmed over. They all knew Baya. Baya distributed the food to them. Do you come here often? Alan asked. No, occasionally twice a week, Baya explained. I can invest in the security center to solve the problem of these homeless people, Alan suggested. Baya smiled. I bought a 2-story house near the clinic. I've modified it. There are only benches, a pool and air conditioning. It can accommodate 1,000 people who don't want to go home or are homeless every day. Alan looked at Baya in surprise. I hired a cleaner to clean every day. I don't care about anything else, Baya said. Baya said, I think it's pretty good this way. When you think about it, you give something. You don't have to treat giving as a responsibility. You can live casually, freely, Baya said. Don't they know it's your house? Alan said. I don't need them to know. I just need them to know that there's a place where they won't die of heat in summer, won't freeze to death in winter, and can walk around the park without starving to death. That's enough. Baya distributed the food and returned. Alan held her hand. I'll do these things with you in the future. Baya patted his hand as if they were old friends. Welcome. In a few days my senior will also come to America. I feel like my life is complete. Alan nodded. Let's move forward hand in hand. Let's go. Baya nodded and headed back home. When they were almost at the house, Alan remembered Gu Lingqing who was working in the kitchen. He asked tentatively, how do you feel about that Black? I don't feel anything. He's not an easy person to get along with. Silence is golden and he's hard to read. There are too many mysteries about him, but I don't want to know. I asked him to stay for dinner today because he's my colleague. He specially brought something over. From now on we'll only be colleagues, Baya said calmly. Alan was relieved. He smiled cheerfully. We'll go fishing later. Remember to apply sunscreen and moisturizer. The sun at sea is especially strong. If you're not careful you'll get sunburned. Got it. Baya went back. Gu Lingqing had already finished washing the dishes. She was sitting on the sofa looking at her phone. When she saw them return, her gaze fell on their tightly clasped hands. A sharp glint flashed across her eyes as she glanced at Alan. Alan smiled. Let's go now. Black, did you drive here? You can all take my car. Let's go. Gu Lingqing walked outside. She bumped into Alan's shoulder on purpose. Alan did not stand still. He took a step back. Are you okay? Baya asked with concern. Alan shook his head. Your colleague is very strong. Baya frowned and glanced at Black. Gu Lingqing had already gone out. His temper doesn't seem too good. I suddenly regret taking his cruise. Baya shrugged. Then I'll buy a cruise tomorrow. We won't need to ask for help when we go out in the future, Alan said with a smile. I'll get a fishing rod, Baya said as she went upstairs. After a while she came down with a big bag and a big box. You have such a complete set of fishing tools? Alan was surprised. Of course. To do a good job, a worker must first sharpen his tools. If the tools are not good, how can we catch a big fish? I'll buy one next time. Alan took the water tank from Bai Ye's hand. They went out. Gu Lingqing had already parked the car outside. Alan opened the trunk and put the things inside. Gu Lingqing said to Bai Ye, "Sit in the front." Bai Ye wanted to sit in the back. After all, Alan was her friend and Black was her colleague. However, Black had asked her to sit. It was not good for her to reject. She believed that Alan would not mind, so she sat in the front passenger seat. Gu Lingqing's expression turned a little better. She said to Bai Ye, "Do you want to take a look at the case files?" "Okay." Bai Ye responded and flipped through the documents that Black had placed on the shelf. Cheong said that the body that was just found is new. I think we should know the identity of the deceased tomorrow. What do you think is the reason why the deceased's family didn't report the case? Bai Ye asked. There are too many possibilities. These people might not be from here, so they reported it. However, because it was not the same place, the cases could not be concentrated. It could also be that the whole family died, so no one reported it. There was a case in the past where more than 100 people in the village were all killed, so no one reported it, Gu Lingqing said. Are you talking about the Tangqian village case? Bai Ye blurted out. Gu Lingqing looked at her. His eyes darkened. You've heard of this case too? Yes, I've been to Tangqian village. They mainly dug up a treasure there. Then, someone massacred the entire village in order to get the treasure, Bai Ye said calmly. Do you know who massacred the village? Gu Lingqing continued to ask. Many scenes flashed through Bai Ye's mind. Some of her memories were there, but some seemed to be blank. She did not want to think about it anymore. I don't know. The light in Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed again. Alan opened the car door. He glanced at Gu Lingqing and sat in the back seat. Gu Lingqing drove. No one spoke along the way. Bai Ye was a little tired from reading the files. She leaned against the seat and closed her eyes to sleep. Gu Lingqing saw that she had fallen asleep, so he adjusted the position of the air vent so that it would not blow at her. Alan frowned slightly and looked out of the window. Time ticked by. Seattle was a coastal city. After driving for a few minutes, they arrived at the pier. Gu Lingqing stopped the car. Bai Ye opened her eyes and got out of the car. Chapter 765. Little White. Bai Ye blurted out. There was a dog like that in her memory too. It was also on the boat and had a good relationship with her. She was a little confused as to whether its name was Little White. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Bai Ye smiled awkwardly and explained, What I mean is, its whole body is white, it's very strong and it's very cute. Its name is Little White, Gu Lingqing said. On the boat. He stroked the dog's head. As he stroked the dog's head, his expression became much gentler, and his gaze became much less sharp. Bai Ye's gaze also softened. She had thought about raising a dog in the past, but sometimes she had to go on a business trip, so she was worried that the dog would starve. Now that Alan was coming over, he had asthma, so it wasn't good for him to raise a dog. It usually stays on the boat? Bai Ye asked. Yes, it likes to stay on the bed. This is its world, Gu Lingqing said gently as he stroked Little White's head. Bai Ye squatted down too. Little White immediately rushed in front of her, wagging its tail happily. Bai Ye liked this dog from the bottom of her heart. She stroked the dog's head and the dog lay on the ground. Bai Ye's heart softened even more. Why was this dog so cute? She liked it so much. Little White, Bai Ye called. It immediately stood up and stuck out its tongue with a smile on its face. Do you have dog food? I want to feed it, Bai Ye said gently. Yes. Gu Lingqing took a bowl over. Little White saw that Gu Lingqing had a dog bowl, so it ran towards Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing passed the dog bowl to Bai Ye. Bai Ye took the dog bowl and put it on the ground. The dog immediately came to eat. Do you have water? You have to feed the dog more water in the summer, Bai Ye said. Gu Lingqing went back to get Little White's special water bottle and passed it to Bai Ye. Bai Ye fed Little White water, but Little White refused to eat it and continued to eat dog food. How long has it been since you last fed it? It looks very hungry, Bai Ye complained. I fed it once in the morning and again in the evening, Gu Lingqing explained. Bai Ye looked at him in surprise. Do you usually stay on the ship? Gu Lingqing answered. What if you go on a business trip? What will happen to Little Bai? Bai Ye was worried. I know all the fishermen here. They will help me take care of Little White. Little White knows them too and they get along well, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya patted the dog's head. Xiao Bai is the best. Alan watched their interaction. He knew this ship. It belonged to Baya. He didn't expect that Gu Lingqing had been living on this ship. When are we leaving? Alan asked. Wait for a while. I asked someone to buy some things. We will arrive in about 3 minutes, Gu Lingqing said. All right, Alan replied in a good mood. He went to the roof. As expected, it was exactly the same as what Baya did in the past. Nothing changed. He felt a little uncomfortable. He slept on the deck chair enjoying the sea breeze. After a while, Gu Lingqing's people came and bought a lot of things. Fishing bait, vegetables, meat, fruits, coffee and the like. After Gu Lingqing's people came, Gu Lingqing went to the control room and drove the ship out. After confirming the latitude and longitude, he let the ship sail on its own. He cut half a watermelon, cut it into small pieces and placed them on a plate. Then he added plums, pears and oranges. He made 2 large plates and brought them out. He looked for Baya. She was still playing with Little White. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. His resolute expression softened a lot. Come to the roof. It's time to eat some fruit, Gu Lingqing shouted and carried the fruit to the roof. Alan was enjoying the wind. Gu Lingqing put the fruit plate in front of him. Thank you, Alan said. Gu Lingqing put the other plate on the bar next to him and sat down on the sofa. He looked at the sea in the distance and didn't say anything. Alan chuckled. Gu Lingqing looked at Alan. I think we're the friendliest rivals in love, right? Alan said with a smile. She treats you as a friend. So, even if you're my rival in love, there's no need to be unfriendly to you. You're always by her side to help her when she's in the most difficult situation. I know that. Thank you, Gu Lingqing said calmly. Alan shrugged. Gu Lingqing was flattering him too much. He didn't know what to say. Are you really going to stay in America? If she doesn't choose you, you'll be very sad, right? Gu Lingqing said again. You came all the way to find her. If she doesn't choose you, will you feel sad? Alan asked. No matter where she is, I'll be by her side. I won't force her to make a choice. Gu Lingqing looked into the distance and said. Me too. Whether she chooses me or not, I'll stay by her side. I have 2 children with her. The children need her, Gu Lingqing said lightly. But she chose to let it go. She's a very strong person. She was fearless even when facing terrorists. A girl like that chose to forget. I think the damage you brought to her is enough to make her forget me completely. My advantage is actually greater than yours, Alan said with a smile. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips and didn't say anything. His eyes dimmed and turned into a black hole. It carried too much and people couldn't see it clearly. Baya came up with a smile and said to Gu Lingqing, I like your little dog very much. It's very obedient. When you call it, it will come immediately and it can even do somersaults. It's very cute. If you shoot at it, it will fall down. But what it's best at is buying things. Sometimes I dress it and hang a bag around its neck. I put money in the bag and let it buy things. It can buy things for you? Baya felt that it was magical. Yes, there's a vegetable market nearby. Many farmers buy vegetables there and they all know it, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya smiled. If she couldn't find the person she wanted to spend the rest of her life with when she was old, she would raise a dog to accompany her until she was old. She wouldn't be lonely then. Dogs were man's best friends and were very loyal to their owners. She lay down on the chair and enjoyed the sea breeze. When the sea breeze blew past her cheeks, it felt very comfortable and relaxing. I used to live on a deserted island, Baya suddenly said. Gu Lingqing was slightly stunned. He looked at her and waited for her to continue. Baya closed her eyes and smiled slightly. I remember there were a lot of crabs on the island. But the crabs are very fast. Many of them will drill into the sand and some will run into the sea. With a fishing net, you can catch a lot of crabs every day. What about winter? The sea is too cold. Do you still go into the sea? Alan asked. You're tuning in to the Han Lee's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.